3 years ago, Ultra-trail Cape Town approached us to clear some trails. Then the partnership with RMB came along. We're here to represent the users, take care of the ecology, the fauna and the flora. RMB are sponsoring a number of projects. Friends of Table Mountain, the Sugarbird project, Live to Run, and the Sustainable Cedar project in the Cedarburg, very much aligned to our value system of taking care of the environment. Together with our partners, RMB and UTCT, we are committed to making Table Mountain better.
What an amazing performance.
I can't put it to words.
Stand through the cattle guard and towards the finish line. Your 2024 champion.
The RMB Speed Ultra is just a fast shoe, built with input from the best trail runners in the world.
This has never been done before.
And this was just possible due to the very strong collaboration. The secret formula for us was how can we mix together the components so that we make measurable differences. Seeing athletes on the podium, this was just wow. This was the game changer for us. The RMB Speed Ultra is designed to run fast.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the RMB UTCT, and after a fantastic 55 kilometer this morning that we covered from end to end with our top runners in the men's and women's field. I think this is a good opportunity to do a bit of a recap, actually. To update you, if you didn't have the chance this morning to be with us, we had in the women's race Anya Tarasova, who basically led the race from end to end and took the win. Louis Sabon from France, Team Adidas TERREX, was in second, and local favorite Lundi Grelin managed to score a third spot after a bit of a fight with another French lady. In the men's race, Robbie Simpson claimed his third win on this 55K. Didn't break his own course record, but he still took away the big W. Just run from the United States of America, just run small. Also, Team Adidas TERREX was for a long time with Robbie, and then eventually faded a little bit in the later stages and came in second. And Ryan Sainz, thanks to a beautifully paced race, managed to come on the third spot of the podium. And now we're back indeed, because there's going to be the start of the miler, the 100-mile race that is the staple of this race here in Cape Town, the RMB UTCT. And we have once again a pretty solid field on the right-hand side of your screen in the Adidas TERREX kit. We just caught a glimpse of him. Is Alexei Tolsenko. 2 years ago, he was second. Last year, he was first. He won in amazing style, like basically went out hard. He knew the course, he knew the performance he could pull off, and then had a pretty much solo journey from the start, if I remember correctly, and took the win. To challenge him on this course is Jérôme van der Scheeg from Belgium. With Jérôme, it's a bit of a hit or miss. When he has good races, he's got very good races, but he also has a fair amount of DNFs, including UTMB and Wildstrubel earlier this year. And Krelling, the name is back on the line, but this time it is Christian. So basically they're tagging each other. And Christian was out there supporting Landy with their two children. They must have indeed tagged each other, and now it is on Christian's, the bib is on Christian's shirt, and he's gonna get ready for this miler. Here again with the white t-shirt with kind of reddish stripes was Alexei. I'm sure we'll see a lot of him during this live coverage. And then in the women's field, Varvara Shikanova is also back, and probably with solid intentions. Naomi Brand as well is back. We're definitely familiar with this name, the UTCT favorite family. Here she is, Varvara. And we got Joe Kapler, who was a third last year in the miler, and will probably try and improve upon her performance. So that's it for kind of our top 3 anticipated runners. And you see that it is still like it was this morning, kind of an overcast weather. But don't be fooled, because what we thought was going to be a cooler day, a better day for race conditions, it was actually still very hot and humid under that cloud cover. And by no means it made that race easier. Oh, there we go. We got the team. I can hear you, Toni.
I can't hear any audio.
Can you hear me? Okay, so we've got the voice, but she's not hearing us just yet. We're gonna make it happen. But in the meantime, once again, we invite all of you in the chat to get involved.
Weird. There we go.
This is what this race is about.
I think I can hear myself. Toni, are you good?
I can hear you, but I think that means Martin can hear us too.
All right, team.
Yeah.
We are live.
Sound
I don't know
check
if you're
1, 2.
hearing me. And once again, you have this splendid shot from Gardens Rugby Club, where all the party, all the life takes place. Most of the starts, all of the finishes. Under this big tent is the whole race village with the stage, with all the brands that are there. Food is also available, and there's heaps of drinks and all sorts of delicacies. Last year, I was delighted with very tasteful soups. So yeah, if you are around, by all means this weekend, get involved, come up and then be part of this celebration. As a spectator, you might just catch the bug and want to get involved later on. Toni, can you hear me?
I am here and I can hear you.
Tony's
we got
in
caught
the
up.
house. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. No, we got caught up in the hype that you were currently talking about. That start line fever. It's so exciting. I'm watching all of these athletes walking to the start line now. Their crew and their loved ones all around them. So it's very exciting. Obviously, we've also got some finishes coming in from the PT 55, but really what we're talking about here is the start of the UTCT, the 100-mile race at Ultra-trail Cape Town. So yeah, super excited to be here. We've got a nice long-ish section now to chat and to introduce all of these runners before we send them off into the night, and we hopefully get some sleep.
Please don't say hopefully. We'll get some sleep.
Yeah,
because,
we will get some.
That's, yeah, because essentially the party is going to stop when the sun's going to go down and we're going to lose visibility. So hence, we won't be able to offer you live images. But then we'll be back as soon as the sun rises to keep following this miler race, as well as obviously the start of the 100K race. That once again, we will tune back around 6 a.m. tomorrow local time, which will be 2 hours into the 100K race. They will start at 4 p.m. So the first 2 hours, we'll record a few things, and then we'll have an actual recap to get you up to speed, and then we'll carry on with the day. But this is going to be a long day, so yeah, we shall get
some people possibly a long 2 days.
yeah, indeed.
Watching or seeing the athletes now starting to line up there. You've got Alexei Tolstoy, he's a TERREX runner. There's Varvara, I think she's up there in the front. So yeah, I can only imagine the excitement and anticipation heading into this. It's very exciting.
It is indeed. And as you said, like Alexei is 2 years ago was second, last year the absolute winner. I seem to recall he led from end to end pretty much.
Yep, he did. He had an incredible race last year, charged from wire to wire. So I'm assuming he's back to do the same thing again this year. But yeah, I feel like this field is quite stacked. So it's really anything to play for these athletes who head out on this adventure.
And I'm still looking for his name, but his face is definitely familiar. So again, in the chat, if you can give us a bit of a hint. A Japanese runner who's an absolute legend and who's been in the sport forever, always smiling. I feel like he's one of the ambassadors of the trail running discipline. It was always there, and he's here. He's here on the line. I remember seeing him, like his profile go through on socials, the fact that he was going to be there. But I'm blanking on his name, so I'm gonna try and figure it out. Because all of you who have been following trail running for more than 10 years, you will 100% recognize him and know who I'm talking about, but I'm somehow blanking on his name right now. Because I don't think he's going to be part of the elite anymore.
Not entirely sure. But interestingly, and I don't know if you spotted that in the start crawl there, but Christian Kruling is lining up for his UTCT debut. And it's pretty cool to see him do full dad shift this morning and supporting Lundy during her PT55. And yeah, for him to shift roles now and shift focus and hopefully find some unending well of energy after quite a busy day to then take on 100 miles. It's really incredible. So kudos to him for doing that. And I'm excited to see him run, honestly. I think he's such a strong runner that I think he can be super competitive over this distance.
Correct, and I like that our minds speak alike, because that's exactly what I talked about when you guys were trying to figure out the whole sound system. And I just said, like, yeah, basically the Graylings are playing tag. Like this morning, like he was taking care of the kids and she was racing, and there's like probably hand over the kids. All right, cool. Now we're gonna go racing. Probably Landy's going to be back out crewing and supporting Christian. So yeah. That is super cool to watch. And indeed, I would agree with you that he can be super strong on that kind of racing, especially at home. I finally found a name, and it is Tsuyoshi Kaburaki. Kaburaki, if you've been following trail running for as long as I have, so that's going to make me sound very old right now, but Kaburaki is the name. Like, there weren't many trail runners from Asia 10, 15 years ago, but he was the one coming over to Europe. And I remember he was one of the first to have like KT tape all over his legs and his knees. And everybody was, oh, this must be some weird Asian technique. And now you see it everywhere. But yeah, so that's the guy, and I mean, I'm super inspired with the fact that he's lining up for 100 mile after so many years. Born in '68.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I think we've got the countdown coming soon. These athletes look like they're getting ready to start their watches. So, there we go. 2, 1, off they go.
There he is with the white visor that just went in front of the screen. He's going to be on the right-hand side of your screen. That was him. Oh, and look at the smile on Varvara's face. That means a lot. I think, when people are standing on the line and some are very stressed or not too sure why they're there, their personal why is maybe not aligned with what they should be doing. But when everything is aligned, you can also see it. You can read it on people. And it looks like Varvara is here for the right reason. She was absolutely smiling, almost like, oh, finally I'm released. I can go race. Super exciting. Just like that guy closing the
Yeah,
field.
he's psyched. Psyched to be there. I love it. I mean,
That's
I get
awesome.
the joy of watching out the window as well, and the amount of people that have come out to cheer these guys on is really incredible. So, yeah, thank you everyone who came out today, and thank you everyone who's tuning in now. I know all of these athletes really appreciate it as they head onto the mountain into the night section. So yeah, it's awesome. Such a cool community.
Yeah. So Christian is taking the lead.
Yep.
He's followed by. Can't see the bib number. It might be Jérôme, the Belgium runner. I'm not even sure. So I think we're gonna have to wait a little bit, see if we can catch a bib number or two. Yeah, it says Allez Jérôme, so that's pretty much the sign that we have our man. So yeah, Jérôme van der Scheeg, who I said like in race very strong, but actually the last two races, UTMB as well as Wildstrobel, he dropped out, DNF'd. So hopefully whatever went wrong back there has been fixed, and he can come in and race to his full potential. And here, as anticipated, Varvara is leading the women's field at this early stage. And is that Naomi?
No, or I don't think
Joe.
so. No. Potentially, I saw Joe. I don't think that's what she was wearing. We'll have to get a better look, but yeah, looks like we've got early race leaders and very early race leaders, and Christian and obviously Alexei chasing hard. But yeah, Varvara taking out the lead here as well. So they've changed the course just a little bit. There we go. Oh, so they're running together? Oh.
Yeah, I think that they're...
Oh, there we go. There we go. There's a big group of women there. It looks like Carrie-Anne Marshall's there, Naomi Brandt. So there was a big group of women there. They're probably all going to work together for this first bit.
Let's keep that bob going. We've got the...
There we go. Carrie-Anne is actually headed out a little bit in front there. And then that's Varvara. And I'm not sure who the blonde lady is.
No, only 8.
Oh, easy. Oh, that's not crazy.
Is that Cornelia Oswald, potentially?
I think we're gonna have to try and catch the bib number unless someone in the chat can confirm who the names are.
They've got a smaller section of road this year. They've kind of cut the city section of the race out to just minimize the amount of traffic and road crossings that need to be done, so that they get taken up onto the lower parts of Table Mountain and then towards the Lions Head Loop, just to minimize traffic and congestion. I think 5 p.m. traffic in Cape Town is hard enough to navigate as it is, so I think this was a really wise move from the race, just to minimize casualties on both ends. So yeah, that's why if you're watching this and you don't recognize the section of the race, that is the reason. So they are going up into kind of the upper suburbs of kind of Higgovale and Gardens, and yeah, they get to traverse along towards Lions Head in the background there of that picture, and then they'll start that loop where they head towards Signal Hill and then back and over Lions Head, and then they head to the iconic Kloof Corner, which I think we're all super excited about. If you're in Cape Town, I'm pretty sure everyone who was at the start line is rushing feverishly to get to that Kloof Corner 8 section just to go and experience the Gees, because it's always quite a vibe. So yeah, head out there if you're around. But otherwise,
Yeah.
hopefully you're on the feed watching.
100%. That is like, yeah, that's the best like scenario. You're at the start gardens, you see the starts, and then go up the hill
Yep.
and get that party started. It's gonna be phenomenal. And so
It looks like
I didn't get the final distance, but because of these slight changes, do you know if this is a longer course or it's like very similar at the end?
It's very similar at the end. I think this adds a few kilometers to the race, but
Okay.
later on in the course they've changed a section later on in the course. So you run along Scarborough, not Scarborough. You run along Mr. Cliffs for a little bit. So you cut out a section back and towards the latter half of the race, coming into Kommetjie, and because of that cut and that change over there, there's actually a slight reduction in the distance there. So it kind of balances out, and in the end, it's very similar in terms of the final elevation gain and distance covered. So overall, very similar, just some slight tweaks to, for safety reasons, for traffic reasons. I think overall, just a more pleasant experience for the runners out there.
Yeah, makes total sense. And so, quite a good group of runners. And then, yeah, I was wondering because I see that it's still like kind of overcast. Has the temperature dropped at all, or is it just as hot?
The humidity, it's still fairly humid, but there's a bit of a breeze that's picked up, which I feel in this section of the race has helped to cool it down quite a lot. I went for a little run earlier, and it's definitely cooled down. It's not as just brutally sunburning hot, but it is still humid, so it's still going to require quite a lot of management. But no, I think this is going to be a great temperature, and I think throughout the night it's going to be quite pleasant. It's a little bit windy, probably going to experience a few gusts on Table Mountain. There's a bit of a cloud over the mountain, a little bit of the classic tablecloth coming over. But no, I think the athletes are in for a really, really good night. In comparison to what it could be, I think it was 2 years ago where we had the most atrocious winds, and they've had a good start in comparison to that. So I think the weather at the moment is very much favorable for running.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Perfect race conditions, course records coming down, big battles. Runners are gonna feeling good, so they're gonna go out too fast. They're gonna blow out. They're gonna have a hell of a show.
Absolutely.
And then definitely excited to share that with you all. We've got a lot of you out in the chat cheering for your runners. Go Carrie, go Josh Benson.
And then it's looking great. Yeah. It's quite a lot of short, sharp climbing in this first section.
I pulled out the change, and that climb up until they get onto the single track is going to be a right-hand turn about 90 degrees. Like that is a hell of a kick. And then they're going to be contouring and eventually branching back into the original course. And then it's a pack for the ladies as well.
Yep. So that's
Carrie-Anne. We got Carrie-Anne Marchand.
Yeah, Carrie-Anne Marshall and Naomi Brandt. And then I'm pretty sure that's Cornelia, but I could be very wrong.
There you go. They've turned now, and now they're kind of traversing. That is usually the course of the Tuesday Trail outing from Kloof Neck. Is that right?
Yep, nailed it. Basically a local.
Almost there. Almost there.
Almost, yeah. Tuesday Trails this year, I think, was again one for the records. Just so many people out there. It was absolutely incredible to see, and really special to share it with the internationals who come out to experience this race and experience this community. It's truly one of a kind. So another really special part of this race. If anyone's watching and has been deciding or not whether or not to come out, it's definitely a nice little cherry on top of what is an amazing week of trail running.
I mean, I feel like if you followed this morning, like, how could you still be undecided? To be honest, it's like, and I think it was a very well summarized course, and like several of the top finishers during the interview were saying, like, it's how diverse this course is, with the runnable section, with the technical section. You go up mountains, you go across beaches. It's just one of a kind.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got, that's Joe Kepler, I think. Pretty sure that's her. She's running in front there too. There we've got Naomi and Kerry, and I'm gonna say Cornelia.
So would Varvara be out in front, or would she have kind of fallen back a little bit and settled into a slightly slower pace? I can't recall seeing.
Potentially she's dropped back a little, but I'm not sure. She was with him initially, so yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see for a little while. I don't know if we've ever had such a tightly packed men's race at the start of the 100 miles. It's awesome to see so many strong runners in this year's race. And same on the women's side. It's great to see. Third year, I think, that this race has been run, the 100 miles. So, yeah, it's gathering really nice momentum.
Yeah, and same, like, if you were thinking about like coming and explore the whole like Cape Town Peninsula, go see all the good locations, good places, you could just sign up for the 100 milers and you can just see it all in one go.
Perfect. So I've just had confirmation. I was right. That is Cornelia. That is Cornelia in the pink and the green t-shirt.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so did you get to catch up with any of your teammates who raced this morning?
Honestly, no. I went for a little jog after we finished off here. Went home, stuffed my face with some food, and came straight back. So I haven't really seen any of them. But I imagine that they are all chilling hard, probably sitting by the pool, probably sleeping. I'm guessing Robbie would have gotten a pizza. But yeah, I haven't managed to catch up with him much since the race.
Well, it did seem like a pretty long break that we had, but at the end of the day, it went like this. I mean,
yeah.
I had pretty much the same program than you, minus the run. Just myself the whole time. And I felt bad because it's like, man, I could have gone for a run, but Trolley didn't have that opportunity. So I'm glad you did. You
Yeah,
got a few Ks for the two of us. Let's put it that way.
perfect. So we just heard the camera running who was running behind the three women that he is indeed following the 1, 2, and 3. There we go. My French paying off here.
I was just gonna say, look at you, just like translating French and what the camera runners is saying. Nice work, nice work.
Thank you. I think out front on that men's race is also Carl Saab. Saab? I don't know how to say his name. Apologies if I'm saying it wrong. But yeah, it looks like he's out on the front of the men's race at the moment.
Technically, we should actually be able to track some of these athletes if the GPS trackers are working. And so we'd have Jerome and Gabriel Creel. Is that who you were talking about?
Possibly. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think we're missing quite a few, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Well, just
There we go. The women are coming up to the road crossing here, and before they head on to Lions Head and Signal Hill, where they do a significant amount of running. I think it's about, in total, up until the finish of that point, is around 20-ish Ks. And it's all very runnable. So this is where they get a fair amount of distance in a short space of time, relatively to the rest of the race. And I think they're all going to capitalize on the bit of running that they get, because after this they head on to Table Mountain and it gets a bit dark. So yeah, I'm sure they're happy to bank a few kilometers before it gets dark and technical.
Yeah, because usually it gets dark when they're going up Platteklip. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, we
so
usually
then
get
it gets-
a lot of the runners will have finished at least up until Kloof Neck. So they'll have finished the Lions Head and Signal Hill loops before it gets dark, most of the runners. So a lot of them will kind of go up Kloof Corner as it's getting dark and will start taking out headlamps. But all of the leading people will be probably up Platteklip by the time it gets dark.
Yeah, so it indeed matches with, as you're saying, not only things get real, but also it gets dark. So all of a sudden, you get hit twice. Okay, now you're not going to see much, and it's going to be very technical. Let's go. Camera runners committed. Good on you.
Oh yeah. Is that Matt Couch ahead of? That's Anele Bans, I think. And then that might be Matt Bouch ahead. It's very hard to tell.
Earlier, Anele was indeed in the top GPS track points on the course, but they just keep disappearing. Ah, there he is. Yeah, he seems to be up there.
I want to say the head of the race here is Matt Bouch, who a local runner, runs for Hoka, incredibly talented. Is it? I think it is. Number. Yep, that would be Matt. So Matt Bouch, local Cape Townian, currently in the lead of the race and looking smooth.
All right, and we got Deborah who confirmed what you just said. Matt Bouch is in the lead, and she is sure of it. That's what we want to hear. Information with conviction, and that is helping us out. Awesome. Thank you so much, Deborah, for the feedback. And anyone out there, if you catch us being in the wrong or wondering what the heck we're talking about, by all means, get involved and let us know, correct us. And then, yes, Attila confirmed, Anil in second. We're good. We're good. This is teamwork, guys. Thanks a lot. That's what we appreciate, because we're sharing the love, sharing the knowledge with everyone else. And the experience is only better. Oh, yeah. And the grunt is going to keep getting worse and worse, because that climb goes all the way around and it just doesn't stop.
Oh, yeah. This is a great hill for anyone in Cape Town looking for a workout stadium. It's a perfect gradient to do some nice hill reps on. So if anyone's ever looking for a great place to do that, yeah, this Jeep track is pretty prime. Good job, camera runner, getting out front so that we can get a head-on view. Awesome.
Taking this seriously, yeah?
Matt giving a nice smile. And Nele also looking really smooth. Starting to fuel early. I like to see it. I think these 100-mile races are so much about proper fueling and making sure you stay on top of that. And I think as soon as you fall back on that kind of thing, honestly, it's very, very, very hard to come back from. So it's great to see that he started early and making sure he's staying on top of that from the get-go.
And here's a quiz for you. I'm sure you've heard it, that a 100-mile race is an eating and drinking competition.
I have indeed heard that.
You've heard that before?
I have heard it before, yes.
From?
Ooh.
Or
no,
a better question
actually
would be, do you know who said that?
Who
and it was countlessly repeated.
I feel like it was probably someone like was it a female? No, I think it was Killian.
No? You're getting there. You're getting there.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna guess it's Courtney, but I might be very wrong.
Courtney probably had not started running when that woman was kicking ass at Western States.
Oh goodness, you're testing my trail running knowledge here. When she was kicking ass. Oh no, don't do this
So
to
in
me.
the
You're putting
chat,
me
you're
on the
getting
spot.
involved.
My hands are getting sweaty.
I like it. Somebody said kid tempered. It was Killian. No, it was before Killian's time. He repeated it, and probably his audience was far larger. Therefore, it might have been associated with him, but it wasn't him. It was indeed a female runner. So you were off to a good start. You know what? We got a couple of hours, if not more. So let's
Am I allowed to spell it?
let's keep searching. Yeah, you can try.
Okay. I'm going to start with your clue about Western States.
And in the meantime, Deborah is following, and Deborah is no less than Matt's mother. Isn't that a family affair? So we love to having friends and family following in the live, because this is where we hear all the good stories that we wouldn't get otherwise. So Deborah, if you have anything you want to share about Matt that you feel would be cool for the audience to learn about him, and possibly also help us understand like his racing style, what he's up to, and all that, by all means, share it. That's what we appreciate.
There we go.
Garen is in the house. So either Garen's been very good at Googling, or he's at least as old as I am.
Based on Garen's interaction earlier on the PT55, I have a feeling this is just general knowledge. This guy seems to be on it, so yeah. And now I feel terrible that I didn't know this.
Indeed. Well, you learn things every day. You don't have to know everything. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fun if you have nothing left to learn.
I've had a couple people message me on WhatsApp already and be like, "What? How do you not know this?"
Oh, man.
I love it.
Tough crowd.
Well, we get smarter every day.
There you go.
Pretty cool to watch these guys running up. I mean, look at that sunset. That's going to be a spectacular evening. But it's cool to see them running up while there are people hiking up Lion's Head to go and enjoy the sunset from up there. So it's a great sharing of the trail here.
See, like Kid 10% now have to see who Ant Trayson is. So, you know.
We're educating the masses here. It's not only me.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to shine during your next Tuesday Trail group run, like we're here to drop knowledge on you people. We've got you back.
It's appreciated. Thank you.
And I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. Like, if Anele and Matt can work together, even in the early on, they can both settle in a good pace and take turns in leading. That could make a huge difference right there. Because right now it's still daylight and they're getting into the groove. But then if they find out that they're about the same pace, same effort, and they spend the night together, whew, huge advantage.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't know what's going on behind them, and if there's a massive train of runners that are right behind them, or if already a gap has formed. But thank you, camera runner. Can't get enough of those views. Love it.
But yeah, like you say, I think if you can partner with someone over that Table Mountain section, mentally just that would be so beneficial. It's a tough section to do in the daytime. It's a tough section to do alone. So if you can avoid either of those things through that night section, it really is just such a mental win. And I think part of this race that's so tough is how mentally engaged you have to be the entire time. With any 100 mile, with any long distance race, it's always about the mental side of it as well. So I think if you can help each other through that and lift each other up when others are a bit lower, it's super beneficial.
Yeah, and I mean it's been shown in some studies that what really slowed down people at some point in those 100-mile races or these long endurance efforts is actually the mind that just stops responding. It's like, all right, I'm tired. Like there's no more bandwidth, and just can't push anymore. So if you can stay on top of that, one way or another, that's a huge win.
Yeah.
And it's a cool vibe.
It's cool to see them chatting and keeping each other company.
And it's good running weather right now.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah, and our camera runner is getting amongst it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You heard it from the leaders of the race. It's a good running weather, so there we go. Hopefully it stays this way for them.
Yeah, and as we said, like they're together, they're having a yarn, they have the views. Those are 3 kilometers. They were just gonna go by and not much. Like it's not gonna take much out of you, like mentally again.
You guys are on the lead. I'll be
Yeah.
on you the whole day. Or not through the night. I promised myself I wasn't going to be leading in the beginning. That happens that way. Worrying because there's some really good runners. I mean, if you're feeling good, you don't really have anything to lose. No, I mean, it's such a cool sport. You race against people you look up. Yeah, and it's a long fucking race.
The F-bomb has been dropped, but it's not us.
Not our fault. Matt seems to be in really, really great spirits, and I think after having to drop last year fairly early on in the race, I think he's here for redemption. But I feel like his mindset this year coming into the race has been really positive, and I hope that translates into a day that he can be really proud of. He's moving super well, and him and Anela seem to be working really well together in the early part of this race. So, yeah, hopefully he has a day he's going to be stoked about when he crosses that finish line this year. Man, look at that view. So
Yeah,
incredible.
and it's also good to see, like, beside all the runners, there's also people out there just going out for an afternoon stroll and checking out the views, and that's what it's about.
Yeah. This, I think, is a local Stellenbosch athlete, Taryn Van. She is a physio and has a string of really strong results locally. This is also her first 100-mile attempt, as far as I know. This is
Ooh,
her first time stepping up to this distance. So she's done a lot of 100Ks, been very successful in a lot of 100Ks. So this is her first stepping up to 100 miles, and that's really exciting.
it is indeed. Going into the unknown is always something that, like, first mentally you gotta choose, and then it's accepting to let go, because you just can't control what's gonna happen. Hopefully the training's been done, but, like, you never know how your body's gonna respond, your mind's gonna respond. Most of the time it's a blast, but you never know, and so I definitely appreciate and salute people like going into that. It takes a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see this
Thank you.
this descent here down the back of Lion's Head is a fairly technical little steep descent, but you hit some more running, and you kind of loop around what they call the signal hill that you can see in the background there. But we are also that is not correct on the screen. That says Anele Bantz and Jerome. That is not in Jerome. That is in fact Matt Bouch, and that has been confirmed by his mom, and his mom will definitely know
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
So we'll get
Don't
that
get mama
fixed up.
angry.
But yes, that is indeed two South Africans in the lead of the race at the moment, and yeah, working really well together. So there at the bottom of the screen, you can see the course record that these guys are going to be chasing, held by Fotis. He set that back in 2022, and that is a time of 20 hours. And I missed the minutes, but it's something around 20 hours. I'm going to go double check that. But an insanely
It's
fast
gonna
man. I
come
remember.
back.
Yeah, I remember seeing him racing that year, and everyone just being like, "There's no way he's going to sustain this. There's no way he's going to keep on this pace." And he absolutely held the pace. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's the women's course record. But yeah, he absolutely destroyed that race, and then was the last person on the dance floor as well that year. So he's got some incredible
Wow,
stamina.
legend.
20, 48, 17. So that's the time these guys are going to be chasing. I'm sure no one sets out on a race to just run it if you're leading the pack this early on like these guys are. So I'm sure they've got that number in mind. I'm sure that's where they've set their targets, and yeah, we'll see if that plays out like they want it to.
And I mean, you were saying that, like, the men's cross record was blistering, but that means that the women's course record can really go down, because looking at it, it's about 4 hours slower, meaning that's almost 20% slower. And usually between there's far less difference between men and women. When we see UTMB is just under 20 hours for the men's, and this year was 2109.
2109. Yeah, very little difference there, and I think Hillary Allen set that course record. Was it last year?
2 years ago.
And
I
2
think.
years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, she.
Or maybe 3, but it wasn't last year because I was there and I don't remember it.
Oh, 2022. 2022. Yeah. So yeah, I think the year she ran, she was running very much alone and kind of out front without much competition. So again, the more stacked these fields get, really the easier it is to push yourself to really push hard through it. So I think if she had had someone to work together like these two guys that we see on the screen now, it might have been a very different story. We've got Taryn Fanico again on the screen here. She is part of the chase pack of the women's leads. And I would assume that would still be Naomi Brandt, Carrie-Anne Marshall, and Cornelia. I assume those would be our 3 lead women again.
Oh wow, I've been missing out on a few comments in the chat, but before I read that, I want to correct because when I was saying it, I was like, "There's something that doesn't sound right." It is 22:09 cross record at UTMB, not 21:09. So okay, that's corrected. I don't want to be telling lies. And then something I actually didn't know, but like there you go, when you mix a name and then local knowledge, and Trayson actually did Cameron's. The up-down double in 1996, 1997. There you go. I did not know that. And Deborah, like, apologetic, saying like, "Ooh, I haven't taught him to kind of use that language when we had the F-bomb dropped." As these gentlemen were having a good yarn on their way around Signal Hill and then back down.
It's awesome to see all the people out en route cheering for these guys.
Yeah, and I feel like so far they're looking good. They're looking strong. They don't seem like they're overreaching. There's a bit of wind by the look at the bushes and the grass here. But yeah, it seems to be in control.
Absolutely. I think, the wind is definitely picked up throughout the day, but it's still very mild. And I think it's really just helping to bring this temperature down to what makes it super comfortable at the moment. So really nothing too crazy. Signal Hill can get really bad if it's a windy day. It's the kind of wind that will sweep your feet out from under you. So these guys are chilled. I think they're probably trained enough in that kind of weather to know that this is okay. And again, still with Taryn, we haven't had any visuals on our women's lead group, but it's awesome to see Taryn also moving super well here. I think she's got a lot of potential in this distance. Like we said earlier, stepping up to the 100 miles. So very excited for her to experience this distance. Martin, have you run 100 miles before?
Take a guess.
I'm going to say yes, because you're the kind of crazy person I would assume who has done something like this, but I'm actually not sure.
No, it wasn't an obvious answer because I've only done one, and just out of curiosity, everything that was talking about, like, okay, if you do 100 mile, you got to go into the unknown. You've never done that before, your first one, and my why was actually pretty stupid because I had been told over and over again because I was hanging out with people who had done 100 mile, severals. And they were saying like, man, like you're gonna do 100 miles. It's gonna take you to another place, a place you don't know. You're gonna learn about yourself. You're gonna find like new kinds of pains and all that. Sounds like, wow. I mean, these guys came out the other end and they don't seem like they've lost like mental or physical capacity. So it's just like, hell, why not me? And I went in there and I did Lyranian Island, like Diagonal du Fou, because
I mean, you didn't choose
I enjoyed. Well, that's the thing. Like, it was an easy one for me because I like technical terrain and a lot of ups and downs. So it suited me better than try to run like a Western States where I don't know if I would have been able to actually be efficient and run for such a long time. So it actually suited me, and I had a blast. So I finished almost disappointed because it's like, whoa, like, was that a
There was
fluke? Everybody
the
told me about like hard thing, like where's the hard stuff? Where's the you're gonna discover yourself? You're gonna travel within, like all this stuff. Nope, didn't happen. I had a jolly time. Like never had a cramp, never had a stomach issue, like never bonked. I had a wee nap at some point in a magnificent forest. Everything was like almost felt easy. That's why I haven't done one since, because it's like, oh, this one went well. I ticked the exactly. I ticked the box.
I need to come back.
But you know, again, for the same reason that I originally wanted to do La Réunion, to explore new things and find myself in an uncomfortable position. I think I'm gonna get back to this sooner than I think.
Amazing.
I'm gonna give it a crack.
Do you have a race that's particularly like picking your curiosity?
Yeah, and I can probably say more sometime soon. Right now, it's still a question mark on it, but as soon as I'll have figured out all the details and I know I can participate, this is gonna happen. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, good luck. I look forward to hearing what that is.
Yeah, thanks. And that's the beauty, is that like not being a professional athlete, I can go in there with absolutely no expectation. Nobody care what I will do, and so at least it is very comfortable in that sense. And basically any experience. I mean, obviously, I intend to cross the finish line, but any experience along the way, whether it's positive or negative, will be an added bonus. This is something I'm after. So yeah.
And I think that's the kind of mindset that you. Yeah. But I think that's the perfect kind of mindset to go into a race like this with, is the curiosity to just experience whatever you're going to experience, and to accept that that's the place that you're in. I think it's very easy to fall into the trap of, this is sore, this sucks, why am I here? But yeah, I just find as long as you've got people around you, or you're mentally strong enough to refocus on the why that you chose to do this particular race and why this particular distance, you can really help. It can really kind of pull you out of most situations, barring injury. You can get through a lot more than you could think. So yeah, big kudos to these guys. I don't think I'm ready for 100 miles. Absolutely not. Not even think. I know I'm not ready for 100 miles. So I still look up to these guys with huge admiration. I think they are such incredible athletes, physically and mentally. So yeah, it's very cool to watch.
It is indeed, and just like the thought process of being okay. Well, I'm gonna be running in the next hour, and next 10 hours, the next 20 hours. Again, you break it down like step by step, aid station after aid station. You don't think about the whole thing at once, because otherwise it's probably far too daunting. But yeah, like just going out there and knowing you're going to cover a distance that most people have never even done on a bike. It's pretty phenomenal. And it is a
Most
privilege.
people don't even like driving that long.
Yeah. And so it is indeed like kind of a privilege to know that your body is going to be capable of carrying you on such a journey. And whatever pain you experience, it's self-inflicted. You've chosen to do this. And so once you know that, it's like, well, nobody asked me, forced me to do it. Like, it's my own doing. As you said, it is usually a pretty solid why that will just make you go through the lows and come back the other side of the dark tunnel. You'll see the light. You come back out. For as long as you keep looking after yourself, you eat, you drink, stay warm when it's cold, cool down when it's warm. It's not rocket science, obviously. If you let the ego get in the way, that could get pretty ugly.
Yeah.
But usually you you feel it pretty quickly, and this is a hard lesson. But sometimes you need a lesson to learn.
We've got Daniel King talking about his first 100
Yeah, I
mile.
was just reading that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, going to be slightly different conditions, I imagine, being January in the UK. But what an incredible race that's going to be. I hope it goes really well for you. But yes, next year you'll have to probably
Man.
try and get to UTCT
En seconde
too.
place, j'ai 10,09 l'Autrichienne et 10,07 une Sud-Africaine en troisième position.
Man.
Right, so we've got our second and third women here. We've got Carrie Ann Marshall just behind Cornelia in second, which means I imagine Naomi is out front, Naomi Brunt out front in first position. But yeah, these two seem to be working really well together as well.
Yeah, and Carrie Ann seems to be having the time of her life. Like, she was all smiles when she went past the camera runner. She's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" It's good to see. I mean, such high spirits. Again, the mental game is so important over these distances, and so when you're having fun at that point, it's good.
Yeah,
Really good sign.
absolutely. She's this will be her second 100K. Well, no, actually, she's run 100K this year. She ran the Mountain Ultra-trail by UTMB, so up in George, and she was second there. So I think the conditions there this year were pretty tough, really muddy. So this will be a slightly different experience because it's quite dry out on the trails. But she's no stranger to this race, no stranger to the 100 miles. Last year she was second here as well. So she knows what she's doing. Again, like we were speaking about earlier, that hometown advantage really is helpful and important, and she knows how to run this race smartly. So yeah, very excited to see her where she is at the moment, and I hope she has a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, Cornelia, she's raced quite a lot already this year, and DNF at UTMB, sadly. But then yeah, she's done already like two like sub-marathon and one almost 50K distance since then.
Yeah, it looks like she's done a bit of racing in preparation for this. Nothing super long, but quite a few of them. So I imagine she used a lot of those races as preparation for this 100-mile distance, which is a tactic that seems to work for a lot of people, which is cool. And she's done very well in all of these races as well. If I'm not mistaken, she won pretty much all of the races that she's done since that DNF. Or she's been on the podium for a lot of them.
On the podium, yeah. And there you go. That's a bit of a replay here if you're joining us. The race started almost an hour ago. And yeah, there's a bit of a lag here, but in front, running together. Why am I missing that? Martin Gaffuri.
Yep. So we're 50 minutes into this now. I think by this stage, most of these athletes, we were speaking earlier about how it's important to look after yourself with this distance. So hopefully all of the athletes who have been out there so far are fueling, have started their fueling at least, are considering about, the layers that they're going to put on, have packed their packs in a way that it's easy to reach the layers that they might need when they go over Table Mountain, because it can get pretty cold up there. Like you say, it's all about managing yourself. So putting on clothes when it's cold, and I think Table Mountain is a mountain, and conditions change really quickly up there. I think it's easy to underestimate that. So it's important that these athletes have potentially gloves or a windbreaker or a thermal long sleeve on hand. fairly easily accessible in their packs, just so that they are prepared if things do get chilly and cold up there.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear Robbie say that when he was getting to the blockhouse just above university, it was raining.
Yep. So, yeah, really, it's wild how quickly the conditions change from one side of the mountain to the other. So it really can be pouring rain on one side and then a beautiful day on the other. So really anything can happen. And I think that's what makes this race and any mountain race exciting. But it also makes it challenging. And like you say, you've got to put your ego aside and really look after yourself, even if it means, taking the time to stop and put on the layers that you need.
Yeah, there's no time better invested than stopping to look after yourself, because if you don't, you're going to pay it back tenfold later in the race, whether this is, as you said, stop to cool yourself down when it's hot, or cover yourself when it's cold, or just eat or drink instead of passing that and falling behind on a nutrition and hydration plan. All these things, it's look after yourself first. If you don't put the right fuel in the engine, well, that's going to blow at some point.
You can see we're heading around Signal Hill. They'll drop down a little bit towards Sea Point and Green Point and then climb back up before they head to that first aid station at Kloof Neck. But before we see anyone again, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, hopefully we'll see those front runners again. So stay tuned.
The RMB Ultra is just a fast shoe, built with input from the best trail runners in the world.
This has never been done before.
And this was just possible due to the very strong collaboration. The secret formula for us was how can we mix together the components so that we make measurable differences. Seeing athletes on the podium, this was just wow. This was the game changer for us. The RMB Ultra is designed to run fast.
When I was growing up, I was having a passion of running, but my passion was gonna die.
What these young coaches are doing is they are living examples of what is possible.
And that's the power of the sport and the power of opportunity.
I take my time to share my life, to see my dream being played on their life.
They call you crazy for the 4 a.m. starts, for the endless miles, for pushing your body to the brink. They might call you crazy, but that just spurs you on. Go further with Enduro 3, the ultra-performance GPS smartwatch from Garmin.
3 years ago, Ultra-trail Cape Town approached us to clear some trails. Then the partnership with RMB came along. We're here to represent the users, take care of the ecology, the fauna and the flora. RMB are sponsoring a number of projects. Friends of Table Mountain, the Sugarbird Project, Live to Run, and the Sustainable Cedar Project in the Cedarburg is very much aligned to our value system of taking care of the environment. Together with our partners, RMB and UTCT, we are committed to making Table Mountain better.
Maybe.
Going back and forth. All right, team, we're back, and we're trying to figure out during the ad break what was going on in the men's race, because it seems as though Matt and Anele might not have been in the lead, but I think this was a wrong assumption. I believe they are in the lead, and they were just passing a group of runners, because otherwise this whole time we've been sitting behind the non-leaders. But we shall see. And then, Toni, do you know who that is?
That is, yep, that is Naomi Brunt. So that would be what I assume to be our ladies
there we go.
lead. Yeah. So she looks like she's heading down the back of Signal Hill, kind of towards Tamboerskloof and the Noon Gun, and then she'll be heading around. Yeah, you can see the stadium in the back there. So she'll be dropping down a fairly steep trail here, and then she'll cut left towards the Sea Point and Green Point, kind of making her way back to Kloof Neck. So she's kind of reached the end of the Signal Hill Trail, and she kind of loops back now back to Kloof Neck, where she will see her first. She'll see her crew for the first time. I mean, look at that view. Devil's Peak in the background, and you can see Table Mountain just covered in a bit of a cloud. So it will probably be fairly chilly up there tonight, and I imagine it's going to be quite a misty evening. And Table Mountain at night, if it's misty, it's going to be pretty hard to navigate. So I'm glad Naomi knows these trails. And if they do, I'm also happy that Cornelia, I'm not sure how much she's recce'd this route, but if she sticks with Carrie Ann Marshall, it'll be a good thing for her as well, just to have someone help her navigate those trails at night. Just in the mist, it can be quite tricky to navigate. But yeah. There goes. That looks like Vavara.
Naomi's still in New Zealand?
Yep, Naomi is still in New Zealand. She did quite a long stint in Chamonix this year in preparation for UTMB, and she was incredibly strong before the race. Unfortunately, she didn't have the race that she wanted. Her stomach just didn't play ball, and she finished, but not in a style that she was super proud of. So she's back home now. She came back to Cape Town after the European stint. Her partner, who is also running this evening in the UTCT 100 mile, Xavier Briel, he ran Ultra-Trail Monte Rosa the week after UTMB, and after that they ended up coming back to Cape Town to spend some time here, see family, prepare for this race, and then she's heading back to New Zealand after that. So yeah, she's had a good stint of travel, and then they'll be heading back to New Zealand, back to their current home base.
Gotcha. And so Christian is leading the race, right? It seemed as though like our cam runner, either that's a new one that's restarted with the race leaders, but who we had just on the screen just before did look like Christian Gerling. So
potentially.
See,
I'm not sure if this is a section of trail that I feel like this is a section of trail that Martin and Nelly have potentially already run. But I could be wrong.
All right, so our camera runner might have dropped back.
Yeah. It's quite hard to tell where a run is in these early parts of the race, but we're figuring it out. But Christian's moving super well already, looking nice and smooth. You can see the city bowl on the side there. I think that's a Green Point. And really, that sunset tonight is going to be so beautiful. Athletes are really in for such a beautiful evening. And for everyone out there, I hope you're heading towards Kloof Neck to cheer these guys on. It's going to be a pretty spectacular evening too. So, yeah, go and get your cowbell, go and get your beer, go take a hike, and watch the sunset and cheer some athletes. I know that they will be super appreciative of that.
Yeah, and don't forget your headlamp, because if you might go up in daylight, you're probably going to go down when it's going to be dark. So
yeah, made that mistake before. It's not fun.
Have you?
Yeah.
A lot of steps to go down.
Yeah. There we go. That's Vavara. She's turned back now, so she's running along where the Noon Gun is, and she is now heading towards that's Green Point in the background, and you'll see the stadium pop up on the right hand side there. So yeah, she is kind of making her way back towards Kloof Neck as well. Very steep section of trail here and very loose. I've definitely slid on my bum a few times here as well. So you can understand why, you know, the stride is really short. She's being careful about where she's putting her feet. It's not an easy descent.
Yeah, and when you keep going, maybe like a couple of Ks later, when you're amongst the eucalyptus trees, it's even worse there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I don't remember if the course goes like right at the kind of the border with the buildings. I can't remember if there's two trails, one that stays high and one that goes lower.
I think it stays on the higher contour, so you don't drop so far down, but you do a little bit that's closer to the. So yeah, you can see Christian here is this the one you're thinking about? So there is one slightly lower down as well still, but yeah, they generally stick on the trails. Yeah. Fifth man, there we go. We've got an update there. So Christian is currently sitting in fifth, and moving super smoothly. He's making this look easy.
Yeah, he does look smooth, like nice and controlled. Oh yeah, that's the section that's slippery AF.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's doing good. He's doing
good. Yeah,
good.
he's making it like that.
I'm actually in those sections. I'm actually more worried about a camera runner because they have so much going on. They're trying to film, and they usually don't really pay attention to where they're putting their feet. And this is where shit hits the fan hard. But man, well done to both of them, Christian and our camera runner. Solid effort.
No, don't stress. Sure.
Christian was running scared. He thought somebody was catching up to him.
Fair enough.
Oh, there we go. Christian's favorite trail. It is a beautiful trail that kind of contours along the side here. A little bit of a douche straight uphill for a little while, for about 2 Ks now. And then they drop down around the lower base of the Lion's Head. And it's an incredibly beautiful trail. There we go. We've got visuals on our leading woman as well. That is Cornelia and Naomi. And they are heading towards that trail that we've just seen Christian on. They are making quick work of this. They are also both moving very well. Nice to see them together. I'm assuming Carrie Ann Marshall is probably close behind if Cornelia is there as well.
Yeah, and as you were saying, I think it was a good thing to mention that is like those early Ks are, aside from a few bumps, you can actually go through them fairly quickly, and so what's done is not to be done. But again, it's a fine line between overdoing it and then just covering that ground in speedy fashion.
I think just mentally, we've spoken a bit about that mental game, but like just covering those 25 odd kilometers before they hit Table Mountain, I think is a nice bank of, you know, getting a big chunk of the race done before the night section. I think that's just a mental boost that you need going into that section. So these ladies are making good work of that. There we go. Nice view on that. We've got the 3 ladies working together there. We've got Cornelia, then Naomi, and then Carrie, and then some 2 men running behind. And it's cool to see. We've got a female runner there with the camera. So really awesome to see.
Yeah. 100%. And I'm glad you said it because otherwise I would have. And she was just there, comfortable looking, filming on the side to get us a side shot from these ladies. Well done. I think in total we have about like over 30 people who are going to take turn across these today and tomorrow to cover the race live through all the different camera systems. So a big shout out to all of them for offering us such images and giving us the possibility to follow that race live. We certainly appreciate that, and even happier to see indeed a few female runners getting involved in that.
That was one of my first jobs at UTCT was being involved as a camera runner, and it is such a fun experience and such a great way to be a part of the event. So if anyone who is watching has considered it but hasn't yet taken the plunge to be a part of it, I highly recommend it. It's just such a fun way to be a part of someone's race, but also the event. You get out to see some trail, get to share a few kilometers with someone cool. So yeah, definitely worth it. Throw your name in that hat, and even if it's only a couple kilometers that you do, it's a great way to get involved with the event. So shout out to everyone who volunteered this year, and yeah, if you've been on the fence, definitely highly recommend your job.
Yeah, must be super inspiring to like be running behind or in front of like your superheroes and going, oh my word, I ran behind this person for like an hour, it was incredible. You can just see the eyes shining and like getting all excited.
I mean, my first experience was running with Courtney Daughter, so that was pretty dang cool.
There we go.
And honestly, it was so inspiring for me because I remember thinking, you know, if she can do this, dang, why can't I? And yeah, she's been a huge inspiration just from running behind her for, like you say, an hour at a time. It was amazing. So definitely recommended. Yeah.
Very cool. So this is going up Pat's track with lines here in the background here. And who are we following here?
This is Christian Gröling. He is our fifth man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, he's doing well. This is a very long, consistent uphill.
Yep.
It is tough. To be running all of this is really doing well. There's the graphic of exactly where he is, basically. So he should be coming up to the crest of Pat's track fairly soon, and then he's going to swoop back to the right around the base of Lion's Head. And arrive at Kloof Neck after 16 kilometers. 15. He's making his cameraman work quite hard.
Oh, yeah.
By the sounds of it.
Back in the day, there was an FKT segment that went up Pat's track and all the way down it as well. So I think the whole segment in total is probably around 5 kilometers with maybe 300 meters of climbing. I remember doing it. It's brutal.
Yeah.
But such a fun little segment to do, and I'm pretty sure it's still up there. So if anyone wanted to give that a go, it's a nice little burn.
Totally slapped it. Did you get on the leaderboard?
I did actually. I was I was leaving the next day, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And it was the last day for the segment, and I managed to snag the lead. But I'm pretty sure since then it's been taken down by many people.
I'm going to go and have a look. Yeah, it's a classic. I mean, so you did up and down.
Yeah, up and down.
Oh, that's impressive. Yeah, it's a classic. I mean, it's pretty much like one of the Cape Town benchmarks of proper up and down trail test. It's a real good one because it's tough, long, and it's technical both ways.
Yep. We've got our fourth woman, Varvara Shakinova. She is also looking nice and smooth still. We've got a question. Maybe you can answer. How does one apply to be a part of the camera crew? I'm lucky because I know Stu.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We will come back to you on that. I don't know the answer offhand, but we do know people.
I mean,
so we will
a wild
provide you
guess.
with a clear.
Yeah, a wild guess would probably be on the website.
I think often they put it out onto the socials, so it might just be keeping your eye on the socials, maybe even just DMing the race. They're really responsive, so if you did just message them, I'm sure they would get back to you and let you know how to get through that, get that process started. But I'm pretty sure it's normally just a call out on socials.
Yeah. Yeah, but we will. He was asking.
We'll definitely
that
confirm that.
Yeah, we'll confirm for you because I think it's now that we've punted it, we need to be able to give that answer so we can get involved. Okay, here these women are coming just down onto that track.
Yeah.
This tricky little descent, and they're going to sweep up to the left, dig up trees here onto that track itself. They're not going to be running the full segment, but 3/4. We get a confirmation where the Coral Supper is starting.
So?
I was just asking.
Just double check that,
Check
but
on the leaderboard. Haven't engaged with the leaderboard yet. Let's have a look. Yes, there he is.
He is there.
Yeah.
So it looks like he was around 10 minutes behind the lead. For those who are asking, at the first checkpoint at Signal Hill, with the leaders going through in 45 minutes, and then he went through around 55 minutes. So he's not far behind, and it's still very early days in this race. And knowing his resume, he is good at the long stuff. So I don't doubt that he knows how he's pacing himself. He knows his strategy. So I'm pretty sure he is very comfortable where he is currently and will be someone definitely to keep in mind later in the race.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have discussed him yet in the last hour.
No, we have not.
Well, I think we should discuss him right now. I was looking up some of his resume earlier, and the guy is like a total legend when it comes to FKT attempts. You know, he's like a triple record holder of some of the hardest FKTs that are out there. The one being the Pacific Crest Trail, which is on the western side of the Rockies. He set the record and brought it down to get this 52 days. So it is just an absolute monster. Then he also took the Appalachian Trail record down to, I think it was, let me just get it right, 41 days in 2018. So he was the record holder for both of those FKTs. He then went on to clock 502 kilometers in 75 laps of Big's Backyard Ultra, which is an event that's been going for a few years, run by Laz Lake, legendary organizer of the Barkley Marathons. So, I mean, this guy's pedigree when it comes to the long stuff is on a different level. So, Mark, yeah, incredible to have this guy involved. And we also know that this year he finally became the 17th finisher of the Barkley Marathons, which is like winning the Olympics of trail running. If you actually just finish that race, it's so crazy hard. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what Carl does in the 100-mile here. We will see. So there's your top 10 men's leaderboard. With the timing that was taken, 45 minutes at Signal Hill. Quite a nice mix of local and international runners in the top 10 in the men's race. And we're now following the ladies up Pat's track. And all running really smoothly up there. Beautiful place to be at sunset in Cape Town. Wow.
Yeah. Toni was talking about that. Like I said, it's hard to beat going around that corner and seeing the ocean.
Yeah.
And the sunset.
Absolutely. I run this loop quite often from my house. and it's glorious in the morning, nice and cool. But at sunset, as we're seeing now, it's absolutely beautiful. You've got the whole suburb of Sea Point and Fresno below you, all the Atlantic seaboard and the promenade dropping away. You can see the ships passing by on the shipping lanes. Yeah, it is stunning. Lion's Head up in front and Fynbos all around. Yeah, it's glorious.
One thing I've noticed running around Cape Town at the moment is all the Watsonias that are in bloom, and my goodness, they are so spectacular. Hopefully some of these athletes will get to see them along the Kloof Corner and the contour path. They are in full bloom over there at the moment, and I assume that's after the burn they've really come into their own this year.
Yeah.
But man, the colors are so beautiful, and we've seen a couple images of them on screen already, but I hope we get a couple more of those as they pass through the Kloof Corner cheer zone and head onto that contour path. But yeah, the environment that they're running through is absolutely incredible. So diverse, and those Watsonias, the pink, it's just so stunning.
I
love a little pink.
Yeah, and that area, you're right, around Kloof Neck, and as you pass through the aid station and go up towards Kloof Corner is loaded with them up on that hill. The pin cushions are also flowering at the moment, which are kind of my favorites. Those yellow pin cushions, they're just coming to the end of their flowering season since October. Yeah, the Fynbos is looking pretty stunning right now.
You can see Naomi Brandt here is just really powering up this hill. She's making this pass track look pretty easy, honestly.
Who's that she's following there? Do we know?
No, not sure who the man she's following is. But the women all seem to be running pretty close together, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And hopefully if they need to pass, he will let them pass. I'm sure he would if she asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for now, it looks like
think she's about to
there we go.
pass.
She's trying to find her gap. There we go. It was me.
See?
Hang around.
Love it. She was not hanging around for him.
And so you
Awesome.
reckon Carrie Ann is just behind?
I mean, they came onto
can't
Pat's
see
track
her in the
together.
distance.
So, yeah, I mean, up there it's got second and third women, but I think Naomi might be in lead. They were all together coming onto Pat's track, and I can't imagine she's made much of a gap. So I would assume that if we could get a swivel in that camera, we would see Carrie Ann right behind there and Cornelia as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. I think we're back with the men's leader. And there's a bit of a group. It looks like Alexei actually moved into first, and Christian is behind. And then we had Matt and Anile, right?
Yep.
It did look like that.
I'm not sure that was Christian, but that was definitely, I think, Alexia in the front there. I think that was the Austrian runner that you had spoken about, Jerome. Not Belgian.
Oh, but
I think that
wasn't he with neon yellow?
Yes, he was wearing Asics, I think. Was that not yet? I might have misseen. We've got a shout out in the comments here from Yanni. I'm not going to attempt your surname. I'm really sorry, but it says Uncle Gianni is watching you from England, which is lovely. I love that we've touched so many different people in so many different parts of this world, and that people are tuning in from all over. It's really special. So thank you for the shout out, and thanks for tuning in. I'm sure that support is very appreciated and felt. We've also got Angelo Graham saying he's super excited. He's getting to pace his brother Sipho Matebula from Komaki to Elfin tomorrow. That is a long stretch to pace.
Yeah,
Wow,
that
Komaki
is,
to Elfin. That's about 30 k's.
Yeah, there's some
Nice.
now that they've extended the pacer opportunities to start. I think is in Llandudno. And go all the way around as much or as little as they choose, depending on what other paces they pick up, all the way to Alphen. You can do a ton of miles if you're a pacer.
Yep.
So
That's awesome.
some people are going to be putting in, I've been chatting to a couple of people out there who are going to be doing some proper miles tonight and tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There is a mistake on the screen. This is not Carrie-Anne Marshall that we're watching. This is, in fact, Naomi Brunt. She is with Patagonia and La Sportiva in New Zealand. So she is not a New Balance athlete. This is not Carrie-Anne. But I assume Carrie-Anne is right behind her. So maybe that is why we are seeing that on the screen.
And Tony, you were right. It was Alexei in the lead, and he was actually followed by Jerome, because I actually checked again, and I could see the neon yellow socks and shoes. So Jerome is in second place, and then he's followed by Matt and Anele. So that's our top 4 in the men's race so far.
I mean, if Naomi is in fact in first, and we've got this women's lead group here with us, honestly, they're not far behind this men's pack. They're kind of just around the corner from her. So they're still very much closely packed together, which is really cool to see. The differences between the men's and the women's leads are getting smaller and smaller, and it's proof is in every race that we see at the moment. It's the gaps are getting smaller.
Yeah, they're on their way down to the Lions ramp here. So who is in the mix with Naomi? Carrie-Anne close by.
Yep.
And
Cornelia.
And Cornelia Oswald. Okay. And we seem to be back on.
Here we go. That's Jerome, and that's our men's lead group. So that's Alexei in the front, and then we've got Anele and Matt and Jerome.
Okay. Oh, this is Jerome.
Yeah.
Okay. They're all looking pretty comfortable, eh? Actually happy to hang together, it looks like.
Yeah.
And it's we can see the light is changing. We're going into the golden hour, and maybe we can have a little bit of a swirl to the right and see the ocean, start seeing the sun setting over the ocean. It's a good time to be out there.
Absolutely.
Who did we pick up?
I don't know. Looks like a hiker in the mix there. Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely see how the light is changing. It's already getting quite dark on the side of the mountain in the shadows. So hopefully the ladies can get around to Kloof Neck and see their aid, just to help them get headlamps and sorted for heading into the mountain at night. There we go. That is indeed correct. Now we have Naomi Brunt, La Sportiva, South African athlete living in New Zealand, gal on home turf. And her and her husband, Xavier, out here today, taking on this 100-mile adventure around Cape Town. Quite a special thing to share with a partner.
Amazing. Yeah. I think I was chatting to Xavier the other day, and I think he's in a little bit better shape than last year.
He
when
was
he took it
last
on
year.
pretty undercooked and survived it in many, many hours.
Yes.
So I think he's quite excited to be able to do this in... well, let's see how he does, but I'm sure he will enjoy it a little bit more because he's in better shape.
Yeah. I mean, last year I don't think he trained at all for it, which is a wild feat.
Yeah, which shows you the guy's pedigree. He's a low-key flipping beast.
Yeah. Very much more involved in adventure racing, or used to be.
Yeah.
So he knows how to be on his feet for many, many hours. He knows how to, go through the night with very little sleep. He knows how to manage nutrition. So he's well versed in these endurance events. It's cool to see him translate that now into 100K and to come into this event much more prepared. I know he's put in a lot more training for that, so it's cool, and it's great. I'm sure him and
Yeah, you gotta look out for these multi-sport people. They just never die. They learn to go like they just have absolutely mastered the way of just keeping going. Like nutrition is dialed, sleepless nights. Like it's a piece of cake, trail running compared to multi-sport events. Sure, they may not go as fast, but they go for like 5 or 6 days when it's about world champs, and it's a whole different ball game. So all of a sudden, you tell them, oh, you're gonna run 100 miles and run overnight. And it's like, and
Cool.
you're gonna put me through a river? Am I gonna have to carry a kayak up a creek for 10 Ks? No, too easy. Bring it on. Is it an aid station? What do you mean?
easy game. I don't have to carry everything on me. Chill. Love it.
Yeah.
I'm loving reading
But
all
again,
of the.
originally we were
Sorry. Just I'm loving reading all the
go
people
ahead.
who are pacing athletes. We've got someone else here who's saying they're doing 2 stints pacing, so joining from Llandudno to Halbe, and then again from Kommetjie to Elfin, and both night shifts. So I'm not sure if he's pacing the same person or different people, but night shifts are, I think, really great places to pick up a pacer. Like we were speaking about earlier, if you can have someone to help you through those night sections just to keep your spirits up and make sure you're looking after yourself, I think it can be really valuable. So thank you, Martinez, for doing the good work and for helping your fellow trail runners. I can assure you that it is going to be really appreciated.
Yeah, to get them through to sunrise, I think that's just so crucial in those dark times, and it's going to be awesome.
And it's actually tough. Like it would be hard to picture, like you go for a section with them, you step out, kind of try to look after yourself, go to the next place, and then boom, you're back at it again. I'd probably rather run the whole thing.
I would probably agree with you with that. The stop-start of that would be really tough.
Yeah.
Oof, yeah. And then who would he get?
This is Christian Gröling. He's heading up the Glen. So he is heading up towards that first aid station. And this is Cornelia. She is, again, chasing. I'm assuming she's somewhere still in the lead pack, although it does look like it's spread out a bit more.
Yeah, she's probably just a half a minute back from Naomi. So, guys, have you chatted about Naomi and how hungry she is to get the win here in this event? I mean, she has been knocking them down the door with a hammer for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
She almost seems to be exactly where she likes to be, running from the front. She's a well-known front runner. It kind of seems to give her confidence and belief, and the big question is, can she hold it?
Yeah. Look, she's had probably one of the most consistent seasons of running that she's had in a long time, having been able to take some time off work and really focus on trail running. She spent a significant amount of time in Chamonix training in the Alps there for UTMB, which unfortunately we have mentioned didn't go to plan. But you know that fitness doesn't go anywhere, and she rested afterwards and recuperated and is now, I think, had a really good build up to this as well. And I think she, like you say, she's got a fire in her belly for this race, and she's here to throw down. She's not here to play around for sure.
Yeah. You can just see Christian, we've just lost him there. He was running past some of the damage from the storm in the winter, where the half of the Glen Kloof Road was damaged by huge pine trees that fell down there. You'll probably see it again as others pass by. Yeah, I mean, she's got such a CV at the 100-miler. You know, just looking at some of her results going back quite a few years already, you know, legendary performances at UTD where she tied first back in 2018, I think it was, or 2019. I was there and I witnessed it. I mean, it was phenomenal. 27 hours, and she came tied first with can't remember the guy's name. Incredible. So she's been at the top there and done it all, and just hasn't quite reached the top step here. But she must know this course incredibly well by now. So I'm sure she'll be very amped to dial it in.
And
because she's been there so many times, do you have an idea of like what she's intending to change so she can actually turn it around and take the win? Had she mentioned anything that she felt like she needed to change?
When I chatted to her earlier this week, we didn't go into that detail, but she seemed to be in a very good, positive space. And I think for her, running from the front is her style. So I think that's where she seems to be in the place that suits her. And she likes to execute from there. Whether the other changes she's made, I'm not sure. Yeah, so we'll have to see how the day and the night plays out for her. Here comes Christian into the Kloof Neck, almost into the aid station there. This is a lovely runnable section of the Lion's Head loop. Nice and open and easy. As you can see, it's very un-Cape Town. There's no rocks at this stage for a short while. Quite pleasant. You can see the beautiful pink pelargoniums. That's also up your street.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Christian entering the Kloof Neck aid station. So this is the first time that they will see their crew, and I'm assuming he will be preparing himself for the night section. So whatever that looks like, getting headlamp.
Yeah, there's Lundy. It's Formula One. Here we go. And I was listening to Christian talking about how specific he is with all of his stuff. He's got everything in Ziplocs. Everything is labeled with Sharpies. He has got it all down to the wire. That was
Christian was in first position. He was through before that lead group. Because they've just come into the aid station now. I just saw Alexei walk into the aid station and followed by. So Christian is actually in the lead at the moment. And he is out of that aid station very, very quickly. There we go. There we've got Jerome. He's getting helped by his fellow ASICs, I'm assuming manager or teammate or family.
I mean, that Christian was like Red Bull Formula One. That was about 13 seconds.
Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, we missed that somewhere, that overtake.
Jerome is also pretty sharp. He's looking around for something else. Going out with Alexei. We've got to navigate their way through the very recent, almost finished roadworks. It's a bit of a mess, as you can see, all the cars coming down from Table Mountain. And there goes
Matt Bouch,
Okay, wow, they're all pretty sharp.
So we're just missing Nele from this chase group, and I hope that he hasn't fallen off the back. But yeah, just a shout out at this section of the trail. At the moment, it's a bit damaged because of the roadworks, but slightly further up, there was a lot of maintenance done by Friends of Table Mountain. And just a shout out to them and that organization. They've done incredible work around Table Mountain.
Huge.
And it's made such a big difference. And they work purely off donations. So if you're a trail runner, if you use the trails at all, if you walk your dog, just think about potentially donating to the cause. They pay for all of these fixes that the trails need. And really help make them usable in some situations. So
I mean, I remember this exact stretch that these guys are power hiking up now. It used to just be a sliding mess if you came down it before, and now it's got these lovely steps in it, and it's all very much more usable. So like you said, massive shout out to Andy Davies, who puts in his overtime outside of his job and volunteers to make it all happen, and the Trail Apostles, who work tirelessly on the trails of Table Mountain, just improving things all the time. It's incredible. So look them up on Instagram, guys, FOTM or Friends of Table Mountain, and get involved to give some love back to be able to enjoy the trails. Toni, there's some of your Watsonias starting to kick in. Yay!
So we are following Christian there, who is the race lead at the moment, and followed very closely by Jerome and Matt and Alexei. So yeah, very
and then we could see earlier, like Anele was not too far back, probably like 30, 40 meters. We could catch a glimpse of him. But yeah, guys, really good shout out to Friends of Table Mountain. Like, this is the opportunity to bring awareness and hopefully financial support to these guys who are doing so good to those trails. One thing that I wanted to point out is that all of these runners, all of these front runners for that, after the aid station essentially took out their poles to go up Kloof Corner, except Alexei. And if I'm not mistaken, he had not only he didn't use poles, but it didn't seem like he was carrying poles at all, meaning like he might actually not like have chosen not to use poles for this race, which can be surprising. But again, we saw Dima last year. It was in 100K. It was not a 100-mile, but make the same decision. But I think this is bold because there's a fair amount of climbing still in that race, and we know how much efficient poles can be. So yeah, if anybody out there knows Alexei personally and know why possibly he would have taken that option, I'd be super keen to hear it.
I'm just looking. I don't remember if he took poles or not last year. I want to say yes, but wow, we could be very wrong.
Look, I mean, he knows this course very well. He's a 2-time winner. He's going for the 3-peat. And I am a big fan of poles myself, and I use them on these very trails a lot. But if you had to really boil it down and make the call, it's not always easy to use them as it is in Europe. The trails are quite rocky. If you think of these steps coming up, like where Christian is now, you know, it's hard to use them there because you're digging on the rocks and you don't have open trails. So it is controversial, but yeah, maybe that was his rationale. I'm not sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking back now to last year's footage, it doesn't look like he had poles, and he doesn't look like he's got a quiver on his pack either. So I assume he didn't take poles last year, and I guess that obviously worked for him then, and he was confident in his decision to keep moving forward without poles.
Yeah, like you think of sending platter clip with poles, it's not really.
I mean, I would 100% break it, my pole.
You've done that before, I believe.
No, not yet, but I just know I would.
Yeah, I mean, platter clip is tricky. You know, they do help you, but there's no place to place them because they just slide off the rock. So it's kind of weird. Here it's kind of doable, but yeah. So he's clearly made his strategy, and he's sticking with it. Do we know who we're following here?
This is Varvara.
Okay.
And she is, I think, in 4th position at the moment. Yeah. So she's heading down towards the climb up towards Kloof Neck, and that's where she will see her aid station.
You're right. There really isn't much in it between the men and the women in the front.
No.
I mean, this is insane.
Yeah.
Yo.
We're heading up towards the Kloof Corner cheer zone, and I know I'm super excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Totally. So hopefully we can get some visuals on that pretty soon. But I'm pretty sure these runners are already hearing the noise of everyone gathered up there. So yeah, they're probably very much looking forward to this section.
It's interesting that they're calling this area the Traverse of the Gods. I would call it like hell on earth. It is so hard. Step after step after step.
It's brutal.
Yeah, but these guys are doing pretty well, but it just does go on a bit, and you can see it's kind of just, he's Christian's in the straight line now where the steps just never seem to end. It gets a bit better when you get to the zigzags, and then they're going to have the very steep little bit up to the mountain man and all the craziness which we're starting to hear a little bit in the background there.
And talking about background, I don't know if you can hear it. Maybe we could actually see with Kane if he can hear us and he's prepared to give us a first taste of what's going to go down before the athletes are actually coming in.
Yes. Kane, can you hear us?
Hey guys, I can hear you loud and clear. You ready for me?
Yes, bring it on. Let's go. Tell us what's going on up there.
Oh, so here we go. This is the world famous Kloof Corner. The crowds have been gathering for the last hour. It's quite a hike to get up here, but I mean, look at this. Every year it just gets bigger and bigger.
Yo.
Got cowboys, Jack Black beer. We're to the side.
Nice, man. Looks epic.
The essence of the Tour de France, or that one time you see in UTMB. Oh, and here we go. We've got the unicorns again this year.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, it was really cool to catch that glimpse because, we broadcast through various ways, but always using 3D, 4G, especially when Kane is out there. The thing is, because probably everybody's going to take out their phone and start streaming or sending videos, we don't know how his reception is going to be. So it was good to get a glimpse before the madness hits. And hopefully we'll still have images of our camera runners going through. Is that the flowers you guys were talking about? What is it called again?
Yes, the Watsonia.
It's like Watsonia. Yeah, the Table Mountain Watsonia. They are beautiful, right? There's Matt who's catching up with some hikers who are busy also on their way up to the cheer zone there.
Yeah, it's close. Christian's in the lead. Yeah. I'm just behind him there. Not sure the exact splits, but they're all. Yeah, it should be in soon.
When are you getting a visual on Christian there?
Yeah, guys, we've got Christian's about to start coming up the long straight with all the crowds. Got one more switch back, and then he's going to turn into the tunnel on Kloof Corner. It's an incredible way to send the runners off into the night.
I mean, there's so much going on. We're all silent, waiting for the runners to hit that couloir of fans. And look at the image with the sun setting and the silhouette of Christian hitting on that last stint. Oh, now he's facing them. They're all seeing him. I think we're going to start to hear them go absolutely wild.
Luckily for him, he won't have to count the 220 stairs. I've counted them many times. I'm sure he'll be a bit distracted and he'll be getting very excited looking up to the crowds that are cheering him on there.
There we go. I think we're also just seeing talking cameras.
Yeah, we might. There's Naomi at the aid station, looking quite relaxed, just getting everything done.
And she's standing there. She's been crewed by her coach. So that's Aaron van Eysen. He's head coach at Black Rock Endurance. And he has been her crew chief now for a couple of years. So it's cool to see her working there with him.
Nice, looking very methodical, very relaxed, no crazy hurry.
Yeah, very composed indeed.
Guys,
yeah.
Christian's about to come through the tunnel now.
Okay, awesome. Keep us on the visual there.
There we go.
There we go.
Camera runner got totally hijacked.
Here comes dude. In fourth place, coming through now.
Oh, and look at him run! Look at it! And
oh my God!
Run through the crowds! Legend!
Unbelievable! Yeah. Pure adrenaline.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. What a vibe. And this is fun.
I'm not sure if everyone has noticed those two signs. I'm not sure it's appropriate to mention what they say online. But those are brilliant. Definitely put a smile on someone's face.
The two dodgy ones, I didn't see that. I just saw the only 3 kilometers to go, and I'm also fine, thanks for asking.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
the one
you have
was.
to write them down.
Yeah. I don't think it's appropriate for me to say that. It might be mine is watching. But I love that.
Okay, so it looks like Naomi also doesn't have. Oh, unless she's just not using them, I'm not seeing any withdrawal. Maybe she's just on the Alexi camp. Using on, please.
That looks like Bavara, and if I'm not mistaken, that's Carrie-Ann Marshall, who is just up ahead. Which means we've got Naomi in
good spotting.
Carrie-Ann in second, Bavara in third, and then Cornelia. Yeah, and then Cornelia looks like she's coming into that Kloof Corner aid station now. So she's dropped back a little bit. By no means a significant amount, but she's not in that top 3 anymore. And that back has spread out ever so slightly.
You can still hear the crowds cheering all the top lane runners. Oh man, and look at that shot of Naomi. I just can't get enough of that. Perfect angle, running into the sun, and then final left-hand turn straight into the crowds.
It's really just so special. What a perfect evening for these guys.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Now, so we've got one of our camera runner walking back to probably pick up Naomi as she will come out of Kloof Corner. And hopefully we can catch a glimpse on that sign, because look, I was like you, I only saw the 3 kilometers to go, so I missed out on what seemed to be the funny one.
Yeah, well, look out there.
Oh, you missed it.
Dude, I mean, 3 kilometers to go. It is quite
That's
funny,
brutal.
but it's not funny.
3 kilometers to go to Pludderkip, maybe?
Yes, there we go.
Read the fine print.
2 biggest lies in running. You're looking great, and you're nearly there.
You're nearly there. The finish is close. You lies.
It's all downhill from here.
Who have we got here? Who is this? This is apparently the 3rd woman.
No, I think she's further back. The graphics are up are wrong, because we had definitely Naomi, Carrie-Anne, and Varvara at least in front.
So it is potentially our 5th woman, which would make sense. Quinta Joubert. She came through the Kloof aid station just a minute, not even a minute behind Cornelia. So it's very possibly her. So yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna come just now.
Behind Cornelia.
I want to get a different angle of the ladies right now. Zach, are you shooting from here?
All right, let's see if Kane's got something to show us.
I'm gonna stand behind you then.
He's getting creative with the angle.
Yeah. Kane, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I'm just getting a different angle. Show you guys the tunnel as our leading lane comes through. Yeah.
Okay, loving your work. Can you give us any interviews from any interesting characters who are up there in dress up or not?
Just looking around. Let me see if I can catch the unicorns here.
Now, who is in the unicorn suit this year? We don't even know yet. No, from last year, but I don't know if there's many people. Have they handed them on? Got a bit patchy.
No, Kane, looks like you've got competition. Our camera runner has also taken position amongst the crowds and is waiting for Naomi Brand to come in.
So guys, whilst we wait for Naomi to approach the crazy zone there, I've got a trivia question for everybody on the chat and for you too.
Second one for the day. I failed miserably at the first one, so
What was the
hopefully I
first
know
one
this
again?
one. Oh,
This one's
Well, you
way
can ask
harder.
him.
oh God.
What was it?
Who was the first person to coin the phrase ultra distance running is who can eat is basically an eating competition?
Oh, I should know
I've
this.
messed up that phrase. I've said it very badly, but the
Yeah,
gist,
I
you know what
the
I'm
one.
talking about.
Yeah.
Running 100 mile is a eating and drinking competition.
There we go. Much better, much better phrase.
Oh, Lord, who is it? I'm having a blank. I should know.
See, it's a hard one.
Yeah, it's a good one, but we should know it. We are definitely failing. Okay, well, we'll bank that. Do we have the answer yet?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Tell me later.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes another runner through the Unicorn Tunnel of Love.
Unicorn
Wow, they're just locked in. You can't even see the gap there. Incredible. Is that possibly Chris that she's passing there? Chris and Garka, have we seen him yet today?
I don't think so.
He was just ahead of Naomi. Could be him, I'm not sure.
So, trivia question.
Okay.
Hit us up.
So, Vavara. Okay. Vavara is from a country called Montenegro, our fourth placed woman at the moment. And Montenegro is a country somewhere in Europe. And the trivia question is, what 5 countries border Montenegro? Yes.
What 5 countries border?
Montenegro. Yes, I'm sure about that.
Oh, wow.
France? Italy?
Bzz, bzz.
No.
No.
Oh, wow. I'm not thinking of the right place.
You're not allowed to use the Google.
No,
Are you mental?
okay,
It's
sorry,
a trivia
sorry.
question.
France and Italy aren't bordering Montenegro?
No.
Really?
No.
Then I'm gonna-
Italy's a bit
further away.
but France is nowhere.
Turkey?
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Slovakia?
That's very close, but it's not one of them.
Slovenia?
I'm going to have to consult my notes. No.
Wow,
You're still
okay.
on 0. But you're getting closer.
Serbia?
Serbia is 1.
Whew. Okay, we're safe. We got 1.
There you go.
1 out of 5. We're winning here. Let's consult the chat. Maybe someone else.
yeah.
It's Croatia. There we
There
go.
we
Croatia.
Daniel, yes. So we got
Thank
2.
you. I hope you knew that by heart and didn't use Google. I'm not allowed to use Google. No one else can.
Yeah, these guys. You got, anyway.
I have no idea.
Okay, well, you got time. There's
Okay,
no rush.
I'm gonna think about it while
got
I
clues.
watch Naomi absolutely crush this climb.
Yeah. Tembung. So someone just told me that was Tembung Corsi Sajola, not Chris, as that Naomi passed. So let's just see where he was in the. Tembung Corsi Sajola, who is apparently the South African backyard ultra record holder, which is great to know.
Naomi is heading up the final little bit here towards the Unicorn Tunnel of Love, which I feel like should be its official name now.
Yes.
But she has made short work of Kloof Corner.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, this light at the moment is just so incredible.
Yeah. And you look at this is classic Kloof Corner Ridge. You can see the weather just totally different on both sides.
Little clean of the lens there.
Yeah. And we've got Joshua Covenant Chigolme. Thank you for the third country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, I have to add, which is one country. It's complicated in that part of the world. But Josh, well done today. Great running, dude.
Yeah.
You put in a stellar performance. So I hope you're resting up and drinking beer at home and watching this webcast.
But here Naomi is approaching the section. I know she loves this part of the race as well. She's a big community fan, and I know she gets so much energy from running through something like this and seeing all of her friends and the people coming out. So I'm sure she is so king this up.
Yeah, she's going to get a massive now. Just 45 steps to go. Oh, amazing.
Look at that.
That's so awesome.
Nice shoes
Oh,
in the
there's
house.
nice shoes out there. Love that.
Mountain men, race director, unicorns. And 100 cowbells. Very, very cool. Okay, we got another chance at the science, Marty. Pay attention. Oh, come on.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, here comes Carrie Ann. She's not far behind. Cameraman's dying here after all that adrenaline.
He's not wrong, that's for sure. She is an absolute machine. And
And
I
is
think
it
that would
here, or could it be a she camera runner? Because I think we had a she following the first woman, so maybe it is still her.
It might be, but it sounded like a man.
Yeah.
I assume she probably would have done the first Signal Hill section, and she potentially might have tapped out.
That makes sense.
Yep. Really nice split screen here. Seeing the first and second woman. Again, super close together still. Very little separating the two. Naomi hitting that contour path. She's running through what is going to be a very beautiful, densely packed section with the Watsonians. Just going to point those out again.
Check it. There you go. Hold on.
But yeah, Carrie getting to experience this incredible atmosphere as she heads up through the Unicorn Tunnel of Love.
TM. Yeah. Luckily, those are just filled with air.
In the meantime, Joshua in the chat has added Bosnia and Georgia around Montenegro.
So Georgia, unfortunately, is not correct, Josh, but you nailed it with Bosnia and Herzegovina. So we've got that and Croatia and Serbia, 2 to go. Come on, guys. Come on, Josh. I can't believe you're not drinking beer.
But I love it, and I love it. Oh wow, I've completely lost my train of thought there. Go on. It's been a long day, guys.
It's good to hear from Craig De La Rey here, who's giving a big shout out to Robert Schaff, a local from Llandudno, who's going to be passing his home in a few hours' time. But Craig's telling us that he came through Water Point 1. I saw Robert Schaff at the start. He was so relaxed. He started right at the back of the 130 strong field, just cruised out, and that's the way to approach a 100-miler. And I think he will actually have a good time out there because he'll just slowly work his way up.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, and the guy's an animal. Like, he knows how to hurt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those lifeguard training sessions, like I don't think many people in the world can go through them. And so if you can, same, just like the multi-day races. Like once you've done that, ultra running is a piece of pie.
Yeah. Just also a comment. I think the angles that we're seeing now, we've got a comment here about the booty shots, but it's important to remember that these runners are also videoing at funny angles, and they're carrying GoPros, so they can't really see what they're videoing. So I'm pretty sure he didn't intend to only focus on that area of her body.
I think when you're in the tunnel of love, there's not much else
not
you
much
can do.
room, no. But
Locked in.
the angle that he had when they were going up following Naomi really highlighted also how steep that section is. It's a brutal climb.
Crazy.
So that it's just a nice indication of what they're actually climbing up. As much as it's a super cool cheer zone, it's also very steep and very hard. But yeah.
Now we're back on the contour with Naomi, and I know this contour extremely well. This is like my go-to run, and on Table Mountain, contours are not exactly strictly as a contour would seem on a map, which is flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go up and down. So you can just see her scrambling a bit up there. Then she's going to have to go down. Then she'll go back up again. So this 2 to 3 kilometers before you reach the base of Platter Clip is technical. It's a little bit up, a little bit down. So you really have to keep your eye on the ball here. Lots of big rocks you can see she's having to jump over. It's awesome, but it's demanding.
Yeah.
And again, very different approach, like without poles. She's just moving around and using her hands to, hug these corners. While then we saw Carrie Ann like in the climb, just like pushing hard, trying to spend the least amount of energy with her legs and compensate with her upper body and her arms through the poles. 2 different techniques, and we'll see what pays off.
We've got a cool question that's just come in about shoes, and I think it's an interesting conversation because this race passes over some sections of water. There's some sections that are super sandy. So the question is, are people taking note of the shoes that people are wearing, and over the entire route, are they using the same set, or are they changing them? Do they have a bag drop? So a lot of these athletes will have crew, and there is potential, multiple places where they could change their shoes. And I definitely think, considering, that there's some beach sections, there's some sections where they're possibly having to traverse through some water, that most of these athletes will have, maybe 1 or 2 pairs as spare in case they needed to change.
Definitely. And I'm just thinking through those sections. So the one obvious one is Hart Bay Beach, which we saw earlier today in the PT55, which has a flowing river, Dyser River, which definitely had water in it. So they will have to cross that at some point after they come through the Hart Bay Beach, middle of the beach. And I think another one is going to be, depending on the tides and the situation on Noordhoek Beach tomorrow morning, is often a huge body of water that you've got to pass through just before you leave Noordhoek Beach. In fact, one of the guys was telling me actually last year that he took off his shoes knowing that there was an aid station right after that big puddle, and then he didn't have to do that weird climb around the rocks, which looked like about a grade sort of 18 sort of rock climb.
I remember seeing that, yeah.
It was pretty gnarly. that was just to keep your shoes dry. So some guys chose to do that and did the rock climb and kept their shoes dry, and others knew local knowledge that the aid station was coming up and that they could just take the shoes off.
Straight through.
After,
Yep.
So I think just on your shoe topic, it's often a really nice boost to get a fresh pair of socks and a fresh pair of shoes, even if you've just been running in them dry for like hours and hours. Just kind of feels good. It's like having a shower and a fresh change of clothes. So it's often just good from that point of view.
Yep.
And then they're also like accounting for shit to happen, and then you break a lace, anything happens, you tear the upper. If you have a pair of shoes just waiting for you, you may not plan on changing it, and most of the time you won't. But the thing is, if your shoes don't work, for you to get to the finish line is going to be a whole different ball game. So just accounting for shit to happen, especially on a 100-mile, like you have to account for that. It is always worth it to just have that pair of shoes waiting for you, and in case you need it, because if you do, then that's going to feel $1 million knowing that it's there waiting for you and you're going to change into it, rather than trying to basically troubleshoot something that is very hard to solve. Like, so just, shoes, Toni, poles, spare poles.
Ah, yes.
Have been
Learned my lesson.
available.
Yeah.
It's those few things that I've learned over the years that like you don't necessarily plan on changing it, but if you still happen to need it, you want them to be there.
Yeah.
But then again, it's really a personal thing, really, because even if you don't have crew, you have drop bags, so you can put shoes in your drop bags and change. Some people change model. They put like bigger, more cushy shoes towards the back end of the race because they feel like their feet are going to be tired and they need a little bit more protection from the ground. Others, because on average, it's about like 250,000 steps in 100 mile that you will take. So you're gonna smash the shoes, and the what it used to be the EVA now light track, all sorts of technology of the midsole eventually packs down. And so having a fresh pair of shoes, as you said, but I like that you said that actually, Luke, it's like a pair of socks as well. Like if you're gonna stop and take them off, take off your socks as well, and then put fresh pair of socks, fresh pair of shoes, and actually, if you can take the time, put a bit of Vaseline or knock, whatever anti-chafing cream you can have. That will do wonders and keep blisters away as well.
Yeah, agreed. And if you chat to the adventure racers who are going through all crazy terrain at all times of the night and day and different disciplines, they will tell you, much like the person who we don't know or who I don't know said something about it's an eating competition. The adventure racers will tell you that it is a foot management situation, and you got to manage your feet, because once they get soggy and grim in there, they start getting the skin starts coming off, and it's stuff you don't really talk about on TV, but it gets terrible. And if you don't manage that up front with lots of Vaseline and anti-chafing stuff inside wet socks and changing your socks, it is a situation that you can't come back from.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting to note for all of those people who are watching, the 100-mile and 100-kilometer athletes do get drop bags. So if they don't have crew who are following them at every aid station, they do have a chance to put a spare pair of clothes, some extra nutrition, spare pair of shoes, whatever they want really into that drop bag. And for the 100-mile athletes, that will be located in Simonstown. So they do have a chance to change even if they don't have a crew, which is really nice. I think it like you say, it's the complete refresh, even just the comfort, even if the shoes don't need to be changed. It's just a nice refresh and kind of a reset.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit old school. Like, I just prefer to have everything with me and go with what I've got. I don't know why. I just get a bit edgy if I give other stuff to other people to manage.
Do you want to talk about trusting issues?
No, not really. Not OCD at all. But I did want to actually talk about once upon a time when I was running the Puffer, which is one of our local races that actually comes in reverse on this very bit we're seeing now. And it's an old school trail race been around for years in Cape Town. It's a very much a mix of tar up front and in the middle and trail. So you've got to think carefully about which shoes you would use. And so I started off in a very minimal pair of road shoes 1 year, and ran the first 30 odd Ks up to all the way to Constantia Neck, actually, in this pair of basically slippers. And it was kind of around that time of Born to Run, where everybody was going minimal.
Oh, I love a minimal shoe.
And I was having a great time, and I got to Constantia Neck, and then I discovered that I was doing really well. And someone said to me, "Listen, you got to get out of this aid station pronto, because the guy up front in the lead is dying up there." So I didn't even think about changing my shoes. That was the plan, but I totally forgot about the plan. So I went up to the overseers hut and onto the top of Table Mountain in my slippers. Oh, no. And I wore them for the rest of the race, and they were totally fine. So
wow.
there's an anti-theory for you.
Love it.
Yeah.
Dang.
So it's all possible, but
yeah.
You got to have plans.
Well done, guys.
It looks like we're also seeing some of the PT55 finishers coming through here. So they've been out there since 7 a.m. this morning, traversing across Lantadno through Hout Bay, up over Constantia to Constantianek and Elfin, and all the way to UCT, and now are making their way home. So, yeah.
We know their cutoff. Probably going to be much later today.
Yeah, I think it's 14 hours.
All right, team. As we're back on the finish line on Gardens Rugby Club, we're gonna have a quick commercial break, but we will be right back with you all. So don't go anywhere to carry on the coverage of this RMB UTCT miler.
The Graphic Speed Ultra is just a fast shoe built with input from the best trail runners in the world.
This has never been done before.
And this was just possible due to the very strong collaboration. The secret formula for us was how can we mix together the components so that we make measurable differences. Seeing athletes on the podium, this was just wow. This was the game changer for us. The Graphic Speed Ultra is designed to run fast.
3 years ago, Ultra-trail Cape Town approached us to clear some trails. Then the partnership with RMB came along. We're here to represent the users, take care of the ecology, the fauna and the flora. RMB are sponsoring a number of projects. Friends of Table Mountain, the Sugarbird Project, Live to Run, and the Sustainable Cedar Project in the Cedarburg, very much aligned to our value system of taking care of the environment. Together with our partners, RMB and UTCT, we are committed to making Table Mountain better.
When I was growing up, like, I was having a passion of running, but my passion was gonna die.
What these young coaches are doing is they are living examples of what is possible.
And that's the power of the sport and the power of opportunity.
I take my time to share my life, to see my dream being played on their life.
Gold. All right, team, we're back in 2 hours 17 minutes into the RMB UTCT miler coverage. We had them go all the way around Signal Helm, Lionhead, and then up to Kloof Neck and up Kloof Corner. Now, most of the top athletes, including the women's, are on their way across and then up Platte Clip. And actually, Luke and I were trying to remember how much coverage we had there last year, and if we're going to be able to have any visual from these athletes going up Platte Clip, because if you've never been there, believe it or not, this is straight across that finish line arch up above, and it's even impossible to imagine that there's a trail going up there, but there is, and it's actually cool to see. So I don't know if any camera runners will be out there showing us those views, or maybe if the drone can show it, but for now, we are back at the start with a little bit of a replay of what happened in that last couple of hours. And then I guess not much has changed in the men's leader. We saw Matt and Anneli right there, but maybe already at that time Jerome and Alexei were ahead of them, but we just didn't have eyes on them. But anyway, later on, by the time they got to Kloof Neck. They were all together at the aid station, and it was actually Christian Schreling who had a Formula One type transition. Kids, remember, Ziploc bag is the way to go, because you just pick that up, 2 flasks, and no second was spared. And in the women's field, we had originally Cornelia Oswald, who was leading, going back and forth with Carrie-Anne and Naomi, until Naomi eventually pulled away a little bit past the Kloof Neck aid station. There she is. But they're still within minutes of each other at that point, except Cornelia, who has fallen back a little bit. But it seems like Naomi, Carrie-Anne, and Varvara are the top 3. And there we go. We see the aid station. Pretty swift transition again for Christian, who was out. And went through Kloof Corner in the lead. In the women's, again, Naomi Brand is making her way up there. And look at these images. Locals, look, and Toni had told you about the beauty of that sunset. It wasn't a lie. Look at Lion's Head here, and in the foreground, all the crowds, all the locals come in to throw a party and welcome all these runners. Here's Quinta Joubert, who's catching up probably in 4th or 5th position. Look at that. The view and the atmosphere is hard to beat for what is called the Tunnel of Unicorn Love. I'm pretty sure I didn't get that in the right order.
You were close.
Unicorn Tunnel of Love.
Yeah, there we go. You nailed it that time.
There we go.
I don't think that's going to stick, but we can try.
We're just going with it for now.
So back at the finish line, and the PT55 runners have 14 and a half hours to complete the race, which means they have until 9:30 to get to the finish line here at the Gardens Rugby Club.
So that's about 2 more hours.
Yeah, about 2 more hours left, and I'd be interested to look at how many people are still out there, but I assume a substantial amount have made it home.
Yeah, I'll have a look now on the results. I just wanted to update you guys on the trivia question. We finally have reached 5 countries. Well done to the team out there. It was a bit of a team effort. Josh pulled in with Albania. Stephen Granger also nailed it. The other 2 are Kosovo and Albania, guys. M. Wallace, well done. So those are the 5 neighboring countries of Montenegro. Montenegro is just around on the other side of the part of the Mediterranean that's to the east of Italy, east of Italy's east coast. So it's Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Serbia, Kosovo, and Croatia.
Yeah, I would never have gotten any of those.
That's why I looked it up, because I didn't even know where it was, actually, to be honest with you. That's what got my attention.
So it looks like we had 480 starters this morning in the PT55. And I was right. A substantial number of those people have finished. At the finish, we've got 408. So we do still have a few people out there.
Wow, 408 are in. And how many were in the field?
And 400. Got the number already. 480, I think I said. 485.
Okay.
So there's still probably around, assuming a couple people have
50
dropped.
to 80.
Yeah, 50-ish people out there, 50, 60 people. So, yeah. If you're looking for a nightcap, come grab a beer at the finish line here and help bring these people home.
Absolutely. It still sounds quite vibey on the finish line. So,
yeah,
it'll be good.
And if you're not at the finish line, I hope you're on Kloof Corner, because we keep getting visuals of the sunset, and now there's a cloud over the lion's head, and it is really just so spectacular. My goodness. Yeah. We've got another female runner here making her way towards the cheer zone. She is very much prepared for the temperatures.
Yeah, and I love the combo sunglasses and headlamp. At some point, one or the other.
Yeah, one will become redundant when the other gets put in use.
Yeah.
I noticed that Christian was wearing his headlamp on the starting line. How's that for being
Oh,
prepared?
wow.
He didn't want to have to think about it later. He just wanted to know that it was on straight away.
Exactly. No faffing around. It's all there. It's all ready to go.
And I saw somebody mentioning in the chat that the weather is going to get quite icy up on top of Table Mountain, which, as we all know, is a very big possibility. As they rise up that big climb through Platter Clip and onto the top, it's like a different world up there. So temperatures will plummet, things will get cold as the night starts to set in on the top of the table. So that's where all the compulsory gear kicks in that they'll be finding in their bags and definitely using. So yeah, that runner there that we saw was already in that zone, getting prepared to stay warm.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have any updates on our male leaders. And we probably won't until they reach the top of Platter Clip. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. They've got a pretty gnarly climb at Platter Clip. It's around 700-ish meters of climbing. And on the screen, you can see there's a fun fact there. It's 35% average gradient. Which is gnarly.
It's so steep. I just refer to it mostly as the giant step machine.
Yep.
It's got these huge blocks of stone that they've made the path out of, and it zigzags. And even though it's zigzagging, it's still super steep.
Yep.
And it just never seems to end. And when you think you're halfway, you're actually only a third of the way up. It's just brutal like that. So it's a biggie, and they will be right in the midst of it right now. It's another one of those classic Strava segments that I'll have to check my facts, but I think that the record for climbing Platter Clip from the bottom to the top is currently held by a certain Kane Riley. It's about 24 minutes. I'll look it up.
I think it might be held by Jim.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Jim
did he
Walmsley
do it
was
in
here.
the race?
No, so he did. So, and I think he played a nice little mental game here. But I think it was the Monday or Tuesday before the race. He went and did a little
effort,
a small effort, Platter Clip, and I remember him either taking the record or getting very close. But I'm pretty sure he took the record, and it might have not been the full thing, or just a part of it.
Okay.
But I remember him thinking that was a very cheeky thing to do the week of your 100-kilometer race. Yeah.
Totally. Okay. I'll confirm. And then the down record was set by Gary Robbins when he was out here once upon a time. And
wow.
Believe it or not, it is under 10 minutes.
Oh no, that is frightful.
Yeah.
From where to where? So from the top of Platter to the junction with the
yes,
contour path.
Yeah. No. To the tar, dude. To the tar at the bottom.
So in both directions. So it's from the tar to that junction point at the top.
Yeah.
And then from the junction down for the descending record.
Yeah, I'm going to look them up now to just refresh my memory.
Because I remember also I had the feeling that Jim had from Kloof Corner to the start of the Platter Clip climb, I had the feeling that he had that one. There's just kind of the very techy traverse that we see on the right-hand side of the screen here.
I'll check that as well. I was very proud of myself once upon a time when I got a faster time on that than Ryan. But Ryan did it in the middle of a 100k race. I'd done it on my 5-kilometer loop around the neighborhood. That didn't last long. Okay, so where are we? I'm on Strava here. I'm going to come back to you guys on that.
So there's two segments on this, and I think the one that you're potentially thinking about is the VK segment, which starts slightly further down. And that case, I think Kane has it. But I think the classic OG from the parking lot there to the top, I'm pretty sure that's held by Jim.
Okay.
I might be wrong.
I don't know why it's not coming up for me. There we go. Okay, what?
It's awesome to see while you're looking at the local king, Michael Overy. He's taking on the 100K. The last time he did this race, I think he did it 2 or 3 years ago now. But he basically walked it in from Komiki. It was a really hard day for him. So he's out here for redemption for sure.
Yeah.
And I know he's so psyched. You can see him just absolutely soaking up the community there. He loves this. So yeah, stoked for him to have reached that point in the daylight, and he looks like he's in really good spirits.
Yeah, and he's actually in really good shape. I mean, he ran an unbelievable puffer in I think it was 6.5 hours or something. I mean, he's on absolute fire, and feeding off all those positive vibes. So I think he's going to have a really good day and night.
Yeah. There's a nice just little visual there. At the top of Platteklip Gorge, it's going to be 21.2 kilometers, and they will have climbed a total of 1,494 meters. So starting to get significant.
Yeah.
And from that point, most of the runners will be taking on that top Table Mountain section in the dark. It looks like, you're going down most of the time. Nothing is super steep. Nothing is crazy. But in terms of climbing or descending, but it is relentlessly technical, and you've got some sneaky little ups and downs there, which really take it out of you. So I think it's always a challenging part of the race. It's even more challenging because it's done at night. So yeah, I think going into that section feeling good, having run those first 21 kilometers and still feeling good and fresh, I think is going to be really important for everyone there.
Yeah. Looks like our camera runner is heading back towards Kloof Corner, just facing a few runners.
Yeah.
And so, team, it's been confirmed, we won't have images of Platteklip. So maybe we'll see it on the 3D map, but in the meantime, we'll still see the action, the party going on as more and more runners go through the Unicorn Tunnel of Love. Right.
And speaking about Platteklip, I know that they have also done a beer mile at Platteklip, which is an interesting concept.
Really?
Yeah. And I think they do same concept as a beer mile, but I think it's every 250 meters or something, or 200 meters you take a beer.
Right. Okay, that's quite a very organized beer mile. Oh my word!
It sounds great, except for the fact that you have to descend after that, and that descent is sketchy enough as it is. I'd rather not do it 4 beers deep.
No, definitely not. I've only attempted one beer mile ever. Have you ever done one?
I haven't.
It was on Tafelberg Road. It's great in concept. It's horrendous in reality.
I think the concept is pretty horrendous too.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I had one beer and I nearly vomited, and then I was like, no, I'm out. I'm just going to stand on the sidelines and sip my beer and enjoy you guys all suffering to death. It just looks horrible.
I think the sad thing is that the person who holds the record for the fastest beer mile still runs a mile faster than I can.
I know. Like the world record beer mile, people are insane. They are so fast.
Yeah. I mean, they're all ex-pros, like track runners. Yeah. And the pace at which they run it is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would
Martin,
I would disagree. It is a fun game.
Yeah, I would imagine you're pretty good at it, no? You've got the speed.
We need to work on the running, but the drinking part, I'm world class.
It's an unusual combination of skill set. That's what makes it unique.
Yeah. I think in the last one I did in September, the altitude was the killing factor, because your heart rate goes through the roof. And then you're chugging alcohol, and then you're sprinting. It's just like, okay. The body is just not happy about it all.
I can't imagine. Yeah, but the energy and the vibe there is still really great. You can see people are probably starting to make their way down. Most likely haven't bought headlamps.
That's
means
going to be
that
interesting.
getting down likely before the sun completely sets is important. But the stoke is still very high there, and I think they've got a lot more runners to cheer through. as they make their way towards Platiclip.
Yeah.
And so just to follow up on that comment, I think I found the UTCT Platiclip climb, 1.4K, 450 meters of climb. So this is a 32.2 average grade, and it is indeed Jim Walmsley who's got the course record in 17 minutes and 43 seconds.
So wild.
What the hell? 17 minutes. And who have you got the whole leaderboard there? I'm struggling to find it. I'm using my phone now. Do you have the whole leaderboard?
I found it. Yep. Yep.
Who's second and third?
While you guys talk
Colin,
about that,
can you move?
let's just quickly have a look here. We've got Naomi Brunton first, Carrie Ann Marshall is leading, Vavara Shakanova in third. Then we've got Cornelia Oswald and Quinita Joubert rounding out our top five. And then Joe Kepler, Taryn, Sylvie Scherzinger, Caroline Hanks, and
Ilaria Lancia from Italy.
Yeah. But you need to see it with your hands.
Scusa, Martin, scusa. Much better. Ilaria Lancia.
But it's super cool to see.
You got it.
South Africans in the lead there, and also the top 10 filled with lots of strong South Africans. But again, a really international field, and it's awesome to see this race gathering more momentum internationally as well.
And I don't know if you know Sylvie, but she is an ex-Tougher Puffer winner, which is a 100-miler, one of the original South African 100-milers, which used to go from the waterfront to Cape Point and back over these mountains in a different route. So she knows how to do it, and she's been around.
Absolutely.
So great to see her in the top 10 there. And Caroline Hanks is also no stranger to this gig. She has done the 13 peaks twice in a row, consecutive without stopping. So that's a 200-kilometer route on these very mountains as well. So, I mean, incredible to see them both in the top 10. So it'll be interesting to see how they pan out through the next hours.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like we said, we don't have any more updates on Kloof Neck. But this is as much as we've got, and we're excited to see what happens and changes have been made at the top of Platiclip.
Yeah, but then I'm amazed after like over 90 minutes of racing that the top 5 guys are like within 30 seconds of each other.
Yeah.
So if they can actually stick together during the night, man, again, that's gonna be a huge deal, because we talked about this earlier with Toni, and it will lift so much mental struggle to be through the night wondering if you're on the right course, you're sticking together. If you hear a noise, you don't freak out because you're in a group. Like, I don't know, if I would be up on Table Mountain and I hear a noise, I'd be like, what kind of animal is out there trying to eat my ass? So if you're in a group, it's like, feels so much safer.
Yeah, agreed.
And they're still raging up there.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Update on the top 5 who've gone through Platiclip. And there's a minute between them all. Christian still in the lead. Alexei just on his heels together with Matbo. And then Anele, couple of minutes, not even that, 90 seconds. And then he was almost together with Michael Baker. Boom.
Who is a new person in our top 5. Looks like Jerome has dropped back a little bit. Not much. He's still up there, but Michael Baker has definitely snuck in there and mixed things up a little bit. But yeah, looks like that top 4 is all still very close together.
Yeah. And just to talk about the top 4, I mean, I don't know if you guys probably chatted about them earlier when they started appearing on the top of the leaderboard in the early parts of the first hour. But, Christian Freiling, I mean, he's got a CV of ultra races as long as my arm, where he has done so well over the last 10 years. He won the Ultra-Trail Cape Town 100K. Years back. I wrote it down earlier. I think it was what year did he win where's Christian? He won it in 2015, so that was the second year of the Ultra-Trail Cape Town. He came second earlier this year in the 100 miler in George, the MUT. He came fourth in 2018 in this very race, but the 100K version. So he's won the Sky Run. So he is well placed to be able to pull off something incredible in the top of the leaderboard there. Anele as well. I mean, I looked up some of his results, just phenomenal. He's won Addo, I think. He has come fourth at the UTCT 100 miler last year. So that's really incredible experience of this very same thing that he's doing now. So I'm sure he will be wanting to do slightly better than that.
And if I remember correctly, last year he was well within podium position for a very long time in that race. So
that's right.
I'm sure he's coming back now a lot wiser, a lot more prepared for what to expect and how to handle himself in the latter part of the races. So, I expect to see him really holding on and doing an amazing job here this weekend.
Yeah. And then Alexei obviously knows how to win this race, so he will not be out of that picture at all. So very exciting times ahead. And there's, I'm sure, another 10 people in position 10 to 20 who are going to get into that conversation overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, and we can see people slowly making their way down the mountain, obviously trying to get off before it gets too dark and they can't see anything. And I think the same thing for our camera runners. They know that we're going to soon lose light.
Yeah.
Which means you will soon lose any pictures from us. But we will keep going until we can't see anymore.
Et 10,09 l'Autrichienne et 10,07 une Sud-Africaine en troisième position.
There we go. As Toni mentioned in the live We are back tomorrow to cover the rest, obviously, of this RMB UTCT miler, as well as the start of the UTCT 100K. So it starts tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. So if you feel like getting up early, do so and go to the start. Otherwise, we'll be live from 6 a.m. local time. And until then, be well. Have a good evening wherever you are in the world. We're going to tune out. Thank you, team. Thanks, Toni. Thanks, Luke. It's been real.
Yeah.
One day in the bag.
Yeah. Awesome.
Day 1 in the bag, day 2 coming in hot.
Set your alarms, guys. We'll be back at dawn.
See you tomorrow.
Going to be the winner of the 2024 amazing performance. She's going to be facing the finish line of the Trans-Gran Canaria Classic. Our confident words stand through the cattle guard and towards the finish line for 2024 champion.
When I was growing up, like, I was having a passion of running, but my passion was gonna die.
What these young coaches are doing is they are living examples of what is possible.
And that's the power of the sport and the power of opportunity.
I take my time to share my life, to see my dream being played on their life.
The Graphic Speed Ultra is just a fast shoe, built with input from the best trail runners in the world.
This has never been done before.
And this was just possible due to the very strong collaboration. The secret formula for us was how can we mix together the components so that we make measurable differences. Seeing athletes on the podium, this was just wow. This was the game changer for us. The Graphic Speed Ultra is designed to run fast.